Time.
Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, welcome one and all to the finale night of Kaleidoscope Olympic Games. This has been an all-star season for all all-star seasons. We have seen a dramatic experience take place of intense emotions, competitive hard-fought battles, crazy twists and turns at every point in this game. And it has all led here to the finale, where we will crown the winner of Kaleidoscope Olympic Games, the all-star season of Kaleidoscope, and award somebody with $300. That's two zeros. All right. We're going to open it up first with opening statements. We're going to start with you, Jess. You will have 5 minutes on the clock, and you will go on the word go.
Will you put it on the screen so I know?
Actually, I think there's like a
I know.
Yeah, I can get it. Hold on.
You can get it? Okay, perfect.
Just give me 1 second.
Not the high-tech Zoom.
Timer. Okay, I'm just doing a test one really quick. Can y'all see that in the top right?
Oh, there we
Okay.
go. Perfect. So we'll do that for each of the finalists. Makes
All
sense.
right.
All right. Then you will go when the timer shows up on the screen and begins.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. I want to start by thanking Prod for putting together this game. Tyler and Nova, I'm thankful to be here with you too. And finally, thank you to the jury for taking the time of your days to crown our gold medalist. Coming into this game, I knew that I'd have a big target on my back. While I didn't win on my OG season, I was the Rob Potts from the very first season of this org and in my first game ever. I'm also Jen's sister, and after seeing how that made people view me in that game after the season, I wanted to tread carefully. So right off the bat, I knew that I wanted to play low key and try to convince everyone I was borderline inactive at the start. So for example, when the one world twist dropped, I stuck to my strategy of staying at the clinic rather than hopping around. Fast forward to the merge, knowing that I came into this game excited to play with Scott because we have the same third place pot story. A big barrier in building that relationship was getting Karen out because of their close friendship. I used the fact that Karen also really wanted Sanam gone the round before to ensure that she went home. I struggled with telling Scott that very directly because I knew that he loved Karen. And then after this, I decided to be as direct as possible moving forward with my allies. I would like to formally apologize to you, Scott, for not being real about my reasons for wanting Karen to go. I did have a human moment there, and I struggled with telling you that. So then Tyler beats Karen, and now everyone's clocking Noah at the jury. The vote here hurt me very deeply as I love Noah so much, and we had just called to talk about his kitty. It literally pained me to vote you out, Noah, but knowing that I had just voted in the minority, I had to vote for you there, but I could not bear the thought of leaving you in the dark, so I had to be honest that you were catching votes. Next for the talks at the Pagam coming up. Shout out to Josh. And while that could have benefited me, I didn't want to go to the end like that. I wanted to play with the people who were loyal to me, who I trusted, and that didn't line up with the Pagam. I knew I had to start chopping down OG 40th numbers. The next round, we tragically see Alex taken out during live night, and it was him versus Sanam, who was like my twin. There was a plan to blindside her, but I didn't like that. And while Alex and I were also very close, I didn't like my fate of getting 6th or 7th through a Pagong, so I threw my vote onto Denson. After that, I was frustrated as the alliance that I was most loyal to in the game, Smoke and Jays, was semi-crumbling. Josh wanted to keep Austin in, but he petrified me in this game. So when I realized that Austin was playing both sides, I used that opportunity to get a giant question mark to my game out. Josh and Juan were begging me to play my tarot card to save Austin, but instead I went to the Boys and Girls Club and leaked Josh's power, and yet another vote goes through that benefited me the best. At this point, I started planting seeds like crazy about the three. The following round, they started getting a little greedy when they targeted Josh. I knew that I would be voting in the minority that night, but I knew that I didn't want to vote out Josh and do to him what he did to me on our season. Additionally, knowing that voting with Nova that night would mean a lot to them, as they had consistently been left out of plans. So after Josh left, that's when I felt the most vulnerable in the game. I lost a major ally, and I knew the trio was about to run this game to the end if I didn't do something. I knew I had to get one of the three out this round, and while I was closest to Sanam, it hurt a lot to take her out, but I knew that Juan wouldn't want Denson, Tyler wouldn't want Jacob, and I heard that Sanam was calling me shady and that she struggled to trust me, so it was time for Sanam to go. Next, it was time to go for Denson. And since he was going to all of the truth tellers and throwing sus onto me, which they immediately told me, I felt good that round to give up immunity and took the extra vote instead. I knew Jacob and Tyler were super close, and so when Denson plays his idol, I played my tarot card and read the votes out loud so that Nova, who was holding our idol, would know not to play it. They revoted on the tie between me and Jacob, and he leaves. Final 7 was crucial. What was going to happen with the javelin? Denson and I had a 3-hour call, my longest call in the game, where we discussed many things, including a possible final 2. I told him I didn't know if I could make that commitment, as I knew that the truth tellers and Juan were in my corner. At the final 6, Scott and I make an official final 2, and I was fully going to be loyal to that because I wanted us both to plead our case, and I wasn't afraid to go with him. I knew I preferred Juan to stay over Renique because if she got the javelin, I thought that she likely takes me out. And I knew that Jacob and Denson had gained their list together to put the underdogs at the top. So I knew that one of Renique or Juan, whoever stayed in at 6, would likely get that javelin. So I told Juan, Renique wanted him to stay in over her. So I just voted with the truth tellers, and Renique re-voted herself out of the game. This proved to be strategically sound, as Juan now gets the javelin. Tragically, he takes out Scott. My 2 final 2s were at war. Scott deflected onto Tyler. I vote Tyler out of the game, and then my heart really did break that night. And I hope that you know that that's not what I wanted to happen. Now we're at final 4, and Tyler wins immunity, and I immediately knew that he would take Nova. Fire making between myself and my day 1 ride or die was absolutely awful. I practiced all day on the challenge and was able to defeat Juan, securing myself here in my final 3 spot. It was the most bittersweet moment of the game. Now I'm running out of time, but I may not be the best player here out of the whole cast, but I believe that I am the strongest competitor out of this final 3. I'm excited to answer your questions and hopefully earn your vote tonight. Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all.
All right. Thank you, Jess. And now it is going on to Nova. Scott's going to get the clock started for you and count you in. Sorry, Zach is going to get the.
All right.
Sorry, Scott. No pressure.
Prod reveal.
Yeah, sorry. Not yet. Not yet.
All right, you all ready, Nova? Okay, starting you in 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, you all look so beautiful and I'm so happy to see you. I would first off like to say that I came into this game knowing how I played, knowing what the perception of me was going to be, knowing that I am consistently underestimated, and it happened again. I would like to actually start a little bit out of order. Touchy subjects. I got 3 answers. I got hero of the season, who is most likely to be everybody's best friend after the game, and who is the least threatening. And that is exactly what I wanted to happen. I feel that a lot of times people weren't thinking about me too much, even though I was consistently at the top of every social ranking. I got good answers in touchy subjects. I was second in the white elephant challenge, which in a way worked way better than me than being the last to pick, because I was able to put Jess in a tricky situation where I took immunity and knew that she was going to end up taking the extra vote so that our alliance had that, and it ended up putting her in a little weird spot because Jess feels comfortable enough not to go for immunity. I tied first for the javelin, and I was the only person who was in power to do that. There were a lot of times in this game where I was on shaky footing. I was left out. I didn't really know where my place was. And every time I was able to pick myself up, find footing, and maneuver myself into a spot that was better. On day 1 of the official tribes, I got on call with Tyler and we instantly bonded. And I said, "You are my number 1." And we bonded. And after the swap, things weren't really the same. But I was actually able to repair my relationship with Tyler after voting him out to the level that after the javelin, Tyler on call with me said, "If I have to pick between people to take with me, I will take you. You are good." And immediately after winning, even messaged me, "We did it, baby." And like, that was honestly the hardest choice for me in this game, was having to pick between Scott and Tyler. But in voting for Tyler, knowing that Juan would stick with his original pick of Stott, I knew that I was setting myself up well at the end there. I didn't know all that about Jess with wand, but I knew Tyler had probably the best shot at winning immunity, and I knew that Tyler would take me. And there were a lot of things in this game that people weren't even aware of. Like, I went from having 2 rings to being the one that got trusted to hold the idol. I basically did my absolute best to just be myself, be vulnerable, wear my heart on my sleeve, and just be myself and let that shine through, and know that people weren't going to look at me as hard because of the goofy sunshine personality, even though, once again, I was the tops of all these social rankings. It should have been clear that I was a massive social threat and that I was basically not anybody's real number one, but everybody felt good with me at some level, which is exactly where I wanted to be. Not to the point where people are talking and, oh, Nova's this person's this number one and Nova's this person's number one, but enough that everybody at some point went, I don't want to get rid of Nova because I think I can use Nova. And I was able to somewhat slide to the end without much being in real danger throughout the game. I had my name wrote down a number of times, but I don't think there was many times where I was in a real threat of going home. And I'm also glad that I played this game as me and put every drop of myself, because that allowed me to really get to know people. And despite what happens in this game, like, it was an honor getting to know everyone and getting to take this journey. And like, I know I'm going to take a lot away from it. And I think that I've grown even as a person because of this game. And yeah, there we go.
All right. Thank you, Nova. We are now going to move on to Tyler N. Tyler N. Zach is going to start the timer. You'll see it on the screen, and that is when you'll begin.
All right, you're ready to go, Tyler?
I am ready, Zach.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I do want to thank you all. This has been a wild journey going back-to-back seasons. And one thing that I think that I learned is coming in, I really didn't know who my allies were. I knew Noah and I knew Ketty. Truly, that was it. Many of you are, to be quite honest, a little bit of still strangers to me. And that is something that I want to address first and foremost with this jury, is that the way that I play my game is the way that I live my life, which is through a lot of logic and not a lot of emotion. Through building relationships is where I become vulnerable and have the opportunity to share things about myself and connect via emotion. And I think that you all may have seen some of that come out at Final Five when I was pleading my case against Scott. The longer that I take the time to build the relationship, the more that emotion can come out. And so for those of you who didn't get to see the vulnerable side of me and only saw the logic, the strategic, the move portion of Tyler, I want to apologize. I should have done more to be on calls. Messaging back and forth doesn't pull that emotion out of me. And so if you are feeling like I don't know Tyler, I still haven't gotten to understand who he is, I want you to know that's why. My journey through this game was very rocky. I take immense pride in the fact that I was voted out and came back into this game and somehow still made the final 3 without getting a vote, besides the deflection from Scott. So from having 13 people in the game to now only one pseudo vote in Scott's deflection. Every move that I made after coming back was a very strategic move of who voted me out and who did I lose trust with in that moment. With Noah, when I heard the other numbers were coming in, Noah was the one exception of not knowing where I was voting ahead of time. Alex and I were on a call that day and got to talk through what I was feeling. And I truly do not hold a grudge against Alex for the move, or for me leaving in that moment and having to battle back. What I didn't know is if I could fully trust Alex moving forward. I could forget and move forward from that, but I didn't know where Alex saw me anymore. And that was something at the live night when I was in one room and there were six of us and Alex was the only name said. That was a move that I had to be okay with because it wasn't someone who I knew voted to keep me in, which was only Jess and Denson. I knew that it wasn't someone who came to me right after and got on a call with me and told me face to face that they were deeply regretting the decision that they made, which was Nova, which was Scott, which was Jacob. I knew that coming back in meant that I had a target on my back, and I don't think that if I had won immunity, I wouldn't be here. So if I hadn't guessed that tribe, I wouldn't be here. And I made sure that I had the opportunity to take immunity when I knew it were challenges that I were good at. Um, so with the math challenge, I knew that I could win that. I knew that if I sat down and just knocked it out, I'd be fine. With the logic puzzle, I know it took an hour and a half, but I stayed calm. I redid my steps. I looked at that very closely and made sure that I was in a position to win that. I feel very proud of myself, and that's not something that I can say that I would have felt 3 weeks ago. The confidence level that I've grown through this game from day one to now is astounding. Being able to have true friendships come out of this game, have alliances with people. There were quite a few groups that I was in that I was able to communicate with and talk through things and feel confident in my decision making. But I was very logically sound in all of the decisions that I made in this game. I really tried not to let my emotions pull me too far unless it needed to. When I was at the final five, I let emotions go because I knew that it could influence some people to get me to stay. And it worked. So I look forward to the questions that you all have. I'm excited to be here with Jess and Nova, and I look forward to it.
All right. I can tell you that this jury is already aflutter with thoughts and opinions, and I cannot wait to hear them expressed to you, finalists. We are going to start with Noah. Noah, a 90-minute timer is going to be put up on the clock. This is just for myself to help guide through the night. You don't get
We each
90
get
minutes
90
time
minutes.
to you. So
I have a lot.
so, all right. I'll go ahead and let you start asking your questions as Zach's getting that timer up. So remember, jurors, to use your raise hand emoji, and I will get to you in the order in which your hand is raised. So Noah, let's kick us off.
I'm just gonna say a little spiel. I hope no jurors interrupt right away. I hope every jury gets a little moment to say a little something first, and then we can all contribute. Because first off, congratulations to you three for making it this far in the game. You guys did what all of us could not fucking do. And yeah, so you should be very proud of you should be proud of yourselves regardless of the outcome tonight. Me, myself, I'm just going to address a few things. I've already had my moment to talk with Tyler, but I just want to just thank you too, for just that sliver, that moment of humanity that we had like 10 minutes before Tribal. I wish it was a bit sooner, but I understand that game and emotion can toggle at the mind, and when you felt right about saying it, you felt right. So I appreciate it because that was stressful, confusing last 3 hours. Nova, on my way out, I want to apologize. I didn't want it to come across as salty or angrily. I kind of was hoping that people could wake up to the reality of the game you might actually be playing. The person who is coming off as not doing much, but always being there and still having somewhat of an impact on the game because you did have influence on being in this game because people wanted to keep you in this game for that long. So, and the two names I only said at Tribal Council on my way out, Jess and Nova, you both ended up at the final three. So I just think that's kind of funny. Now moving on to the more serious bit. Jess, there's been like talks about your game somewhat being a controlling game, and not a bad way, like saying you had a lot of influence on the game. But there's a bit of a mixed perception with some of the jury members where you obviously have struggled, and not to say it's a bad thing, because we all struggle with making the right decision or where we feel it. But I kind of want to know a bit more of your logic at the end of the day. Were these actual genuine like debacles in your head going on, or did you at the end of the day have control in the game? Because if you did have like a lot of control in the game from whatever moment, you could have had a lot of influence on the round. So if you wanted to speak on that for a bit.
Yeah, so I feel like I did have solid control over a lot of what happened. Even the rounds that the person that I didn't want to necessarily leave there, like for example, like when Josh went, like I wasn't like the most thrilled about that. But at the same time, I knew that I might always have a little bit of a struggle to fully trust Josh. But I also knew that Josh was getting a lot of heat. And at that point, that like he was leaving, like he like if I stuck my neck out like too hard, even though I did vote him to stay, then like if I had like run around trying to get people to like save him like against their will, then that would like lead to like more of a target for me. So I was always like trying to like figure out like what's the best thing to do like now. Like, do I let this person go? Do I go balls to the walls to like save them? And like with the Tyler B vote, like pre-merge, like I had an extra vote that round that I banked from the pre-merge. And like I could have been crazy and like played the extra vote and caused a major divide. But I decided to just like kind of like lay back and like let Tyler go, because if I had stuck my neck out for him there, that would have like caused a big wave that would like cause a lot of turmoil and difficulty. Is there anything specific that you want me to like address?
I have a quick yes or no. I'm sure everyone will get into more things, but I want to be
Let
quick.
me
Just
let me get to Alex first, Noah, and then you can ask your follow-up question.
No, I heard something and then I rethought it and I realized I was mistaken. We're good.
All right, Noah.
It's just a yes or no question right now. I want to know if like hearing that, I understand your logic and stuff. Do you feel, because like if you put yourself out there for other people, then you could have become a bigger threat. Do you feel like even if you did, do you think that like like in a different world, if you did go out there, do you think the move that you wanted to happen would have happened? Either in any scenario, like if you do you think if like say for shits and giggles, like if you want it in your heart and soul not for Josh not to go, do you think you could have made that happen, or do you think that it wouldn't have happened either way?
I think it would have been,
Real.
I think it would have definitely been possible, but I just like I weighed pros and cons, because if I like went into every single round and like threw down the hammer and I was like, I need to get my agenda done. Like I need to get this person, this person, this person. Like there were definitely some moments that like I kind of like laid back purposely to like kind of like let things happen, because I didn't want to be the control freak. Because then like when Denson was like putting all this heat on me in the later part of the merge, that would have happened way earlier in the game when it would have been more risky for me.
Mhm.
So while I think I could have done things like save Josh, there was only one vote difference there. I kind of like weighed my options and like I really did like sit back like strategically so that like I wouldn't like, because I'd also been targeting Josh from day one, minute one of this game, right? And that was strategically, I did that on purpose too, because I knew I wanted to work with Josh. So I wanted people to not be too worried about the two of us together. So at that point where it was time for him to go, I was like, well, if I fight too hard for Josh to say, then all of that's BS, and everybody's gonna clock me for that. So
Okay.
I definitely
Right.
do.
Scott, you had your hand up. Oh, never mind. Back to you, Noah.
Okay, I mean, okay, that's all I want to know from just for now. But then Tyler, I just want to applaud you again for fucking getting voted out of the game, coming back into the game and not getting a single vote cast against you. That's fucking intense considering this is your second org. So congrats on that. And then Nova, before I cap up again, congratulations on playing a good under the radar game. I'm happy and excited to hear more about the internal strategy behind everything. I'm done talking for now.
Thanks, Noah. Sanam, you had your hand up.
Hi. Sorry, I was pulling over from camping, so I decided it was only fair to stay off camera for all three of your speeches, but I wanted to be here fully. I'm so proud of each of the three of you. You guys have each played a stellar game so far. I'm excited to keep hearing more about it. I have two questions for each of you. Should be relatively short answers. My first question for each of you is, what was your worst move in the game?
I can go first. honestly, take your freaking pick. There were times I fucked up. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I played a perfect game. Like, I accidentally voted my freaking number one at the time out of the game. Like, did that turn out well for me in the end? Yes, it did. But at the moment, it was a panic fuck up moment for me. Like, I made a lot of mistakes in this game. Alex was, yeah, like I didn't know of a vote. I didn't know what was going on. I knew Alex had an advantage, didn't know the full details of it, thought he could save himself, and fucked up. I fucked up a couple times in this game. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I played a perfect game because that would just be untrue. But like at the end of the day, I think it's better, that like I fucked up and every time I stumbled, I found my footing and I kept trucking and I brushed myself off and I kept going.
Hi, Sanam. Glad you're pulled over safe from camping. My biggest bad move in the game was telling someone they were safe when I didn't have control over the vote. Uh, 10 minutes before Jacob went home, I said, I've got you, because I thought that I had some influence on where that vote was going. I knew that we, as an alliance, had decided to split the vote and to throw a vote in case an idol was played for Denson. And the name that we had come up with as a consensus was not Jacob, but I wasn't playing the vote and I didn't have control over where that vote landed. And so everyone had agreed to the plan except for Jess, who was sleeping and thought that she was going to catch up and be okay. And so I told Jacob, I've got you. I'm fighting for you. I think you're good. And it turns out he wasn't, and he was voted right out. So that was my biggest regret, was thinking that I had a little more influence than I did. And it kind of clocked me at final 8 to make moves down the line.
So my worst move was probably when I threw my vote onto Denson, and I don't think it was because I threw my vote. I think it's the fact that throwing it on Denson made it easily trackable back to me. My transparently, I was worried about Austin's power, and the reason that I specifically chose Denson there was because Denson was a huge threat that I had never thought that I was going to be able to get out of this game. And I thought that Austin's power was going to be a revote between everybody who had gotten votes that round already. So I thought that by putting my vote on Denson, that if Austin played that power, then we could revote potentially on him, or at least he'd be an option. So I think that's probably my one regret, that like it would lead back to me, because then it was like just so obvious that it was me, and I was good. I had to be like transparent there, like at that point, because it was like, who else would vote for Denson?
All right, Sanam, we'll get back to your second question in a moment. Scott? Scott, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I can't figure out how to lower my hand and unmute at the same time. I am curious. My recollection of the Jacob vote was that after it happened, Jess, you were like, "Oh my God, that was supposed to be Juan. I messed up." I'm just curious, like, was that the intention? Was it just because you'd been sleeping? Or like, what was the intention? I guess that's what I'm asking.
So I did bullshit a little bit there. I actually was driving back from Jen's baby shower that day. I knew that I was not going to be taking Juan out with that vote. Juan and I were like number ones from like day one of this game. And I knew that Jacob was like a crazy threat. Everybody loved Jacob. Like, he has like this magnetic energy. And I knew that Tyler was super close to Jacob. And I wanted to kind of like try to leave him in like a helpless like state where like he had to like stick with me. So I purposely chose Jacob there because I knew that if not Denson, then I needed it to be Jacob. And yeah, so I purposely did do Jacob. I'm sorry that I did say, oh my gosh, I didn't see. That was a lie. Mostly just like save face with the truth teller so that you guys wouldn't be all pissed off at me that I just kind of like deliberately went out of my way to do somebody else. But yeah, that's what I did there.
Alex, is this on what's being said right now, or do you want me to go?
It's not. I just realized my first question works best at like the start of questioning, but like we
Oh.
can finish this
Well,
first. If we want.
let me get to Sanam's second question, and then you're up. All right, Sanam, second question.
Oh, yeah.
Nova, you don't have to. You can speak up, Nova. You're a finalist. The finalists get to just talk. Nova, you're muted.
I forgot I was muted for a second. It's good. We're getting there. It's fine. I was just gonna say, Jess, I knew you were bullshitting. Like, you are way too smart when I'm sitting there trying to explain, like, oh yeah, we picked one for your safety because, you know, Jacob didn't have a vote, so in a revote, and you're like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? I missed that. Like, girl, I knew.
Sanam?
Oh, I always have a question to help me understand you guys, and I always have a selfish Jerry question. So my selfish Jerry question is, what was my worst move?
For me, it got back to me somehow, and I don't know if it's true, but that you had like slid my name as someone who's being sneaky, and that was the only reason I voted you out when I did. And so when other people have a narrative about you, Sanam, like you normally are pretty good about clocking it and setting the record straight, and that one didn't. So someone you were trusting was thinking that you had a lot of power and leaking
Who's Jess
misinformation about
trying to
you.
get me out? I know what it was because you said that in the tribal council that night. I was like, why is Tyler saying that? I was fully on board for our alliance. I was like, that's some bullshit.
For me, your worst move was when the Josh vote happened, and I came to you and Jacob and was talking about it and was like, I would rather Ren go because I'd found out from Josh with this very honest conversation with Josh where we really hashed things out and talked. I found out that Ren had made an alliance without me in it. And I was like, okay, so maybe Ren doesn't trust me. I had this hash out with Josh, so I feel like I can work better with Josh. And when I was going to you guys and talking about Ren, it was, oh, I feel the same way. I'm on the same page. And it was like sudden lightning bolt. And so you told me, like, oh, well, you can go talk to Josh. So I go talk to Josh, tell him, oh, well, you know, I think I can save you. Just vote Ren. I think it'll be okay. And the second I get off that call, it's changed. It's different. Suddenly things are different plan. And that moment I was like, okay, so I know Sanam cares about me. I know I'm on Sanam's priority list, but something happened that I'm not privy to, and I'm lower down on that priority list than I thought I was.
That's funny because on that one too, I voted with you both times and didn't say a word to anyone else.
I know. And it wasn't as much
You're
about
good.
you. It was like, where did this come from?
It's
and I
not
knew
personal.
that I'd found out about you and Jacob and Coach having groups like you had with me, with Jess and with Tyler and Scott. And I was like, okay. So I said, I'll be the 4. I'm not the 4. And really, it's just that moment prompted those conversations for those realizations to happen.
So for me, I think that the abundance of chats, I think, was like the big thing, because the rounds that after we like had formed that chat with Josh and Alex, like you were so like down to like flip on it so quickly, and that kind of like put me on side. I was like, oh, Sanam is here and like playing the motherfucking game. And I don't know if it was you who had like formed all of the 3 or the 4s and the 5s, with like the 4 with me, Denson, Jacob, you know, you guys were all together. So then the 4 with Nova, the 4 with me, then the 5 with Tyler and Scott. Because as soon as Josh like went, we all talked and we were like, oh, so they're doing that. And like it became like just so like apparent that like you 3 were going, I kept calling you guys the trio. You guys were gonna like basically completely infiltrate OG Fortius, who came in with a heavy majority in the merge, and we're basically like playing in our faces, kind of like dancing around us. So like we were able to like kind of clock that like, oh, they have chats with everybody. So I think that just like having like so many, all the hands in like a million baskets in the same formation, I think is what was kind of like the nail in the coffin.
All right. Scott, is this about what they were just talking on? Great. What's your follow-up?
So when that all happened, this again clarifying question. When that all happened, so Jess was actually the one who approached me first, asking if I was in a 4 with Jacob Jensen and Sanam, and told me that Nova had relayed that to her as well. So then I went to Nova, and in the course of the conversation, tried to get them to like reveal the same information that I already knew. And they did, and that's what allowed that group of 4 to come together. But in the jury, Jacob explained that it was not actually he and the other 2 that made the chat with Nova. It was that Nova made the chat with them. So I'm trying to figure out, where did the information first come from between Jess and Nova? Nova, did you reveal it first, or Jess, did you reveal it first before you looped me into it?
Okay, so I was. Oh, sorry.
So basically, when you played the death card the round before, I was like, that's really interesting, because I like leaked Josh's power to my 4 with them, and then they were like just kind of like, okay, like Jacob's like Jacob's like, okay, I'm at peace with this, like I'll die. And I'm like, why is nobody freaking out about Jacob leaving? You play the death card, and then I'm like, huh, how does Scott like know about all of this to play it? Like, unless Scott has like a chat with them too. So then I started like, my wheels started turning. I was like, oh, they definitely have something with Scott. And then me and Nova had beginning to like talk and everything. And then, yeah.
Okay, so transparency. I did say this often in the truth tellers, but we talk so much in that shit that like a lot of things got completely lost. But yeah, I did make that chat, the Krabby Kids, with them. And what it like came from was there was conversation of like, oh, I feel good with you guys. I'd be good with you guys, da 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 da. And there was conversation of, oh, we have an alliance for, and it wasn't happening. And so I was like, okay, well, they're together, like it could be like Get Out, maybe they're afraid I would get out something if they made it. So I went ahead and made it, and I'm like, oh great, we have this now. And then nothing ever got said in there ever. And when I started finding out about these other chats, I was like, oh, so I'm really low down on the priority list.
All right. We're doing great on time, by the way, everybody. We're going to transition over to Alex. Alex, the floor is now yours.
Okay. First of all, I am extremely flattered that for 2 of you, your worst move was it basically ended up with me going home. That means like, in theory, if I had like stayed, it would have been like better for you guys. That makes me feel a little better. Okay. Okay. I want to try something real quick. I have 2 questions. First question is gonna be nice and short. So what I want from each of y'all is, I want y'all to close your eyes, and then when I tell you, I want you to hold up fingers, scale of 1 to 10, how confident you feel that you're gonna win this game. So if you feel like you're gonna get like no votes, like nothing at all, like hold up 1 finger. If you feel like you're gonna sweep, all the votes are going your way, 10 fingers. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Eyes closed. Okay, 3, 2, 1, do it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. All right, you can put fingers down and open back up. I really just have 1 question, or maybe it's like a series of questions, and it's for Jess. Hi. So, okay, I just want a little bit more clarity as to what your role was, or like what your perspective was, whatever, the round I got out. Because from my understanding of at least what I got told was so like early in the round before live night happened, like Noah's name was floated out. I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And then you came to me and you said like, oh, Sanam's trying to get you out, and like that was kind of weird, and that kind of made me feel a little more comfortable with voting her during live night. But from what Sanam has told me, that did not happen, which is fun. And then I know you touched on this a little bit already, but from my perspective, you voting Denson felt like oh, I know it's between Alex and Sanam, but I don't want to take a side, like sort of thing, like just from like a very baseline perspective. So if you could give me some clarity on like your thought process during all that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. So I came into that and I was like, well, I was obviously hearing about like the idea of our OG tribe pagonging, and I had a really good relationship with Sanam, and people just kept wanting to go for Sanam. So, and I didn't want her out. I threw my vote because I didn't want it to tie. And I also wanted to have another option on the table in the event that a revote happened, because then at that point, maybe I could try to sway it to get people to go for Denson instead of either of you. But I knew that if I like, it would have like tied, like if I didn't throw my vote, and then it would have been like this whole thing. And I knew that I wanted Sanam to stay in the game there. I don't know. Did I answer everything?
Wait,
Or
so did you know where the votes were going to go, and that's why you voted Denson, so it wouldn't tie?
yeah,
Okay. If you had to have voted for one of us that round, who would have been?
probably you.
Okay, fair enough. Um, okay. And then what was the thing of like you telling me Sanam was like targeting me?
What do you mean? Well,
Like what?
Me and Sanam had a conversation, and Sanam was basically like, okay, like I need you to like give me something, because like I am worried about like your OG tribe basically taking over the game. So like I need to know who are you okay with like leaving, right? So I was like, well, I'm very close with Juan and Josh. That was the alliance that I was like the most loyal to. And so it was kind of like almost like process of elimination. Like Sanam was like, okay, so like so then like Alex, and I'm like, sure, Alex. Like that was kind of how the conversation went. Like it wouldn't say that it was Sanam who like said like, oh, I want Alex to go, but it was more me like having that conversation with Sanam and kind of like weaponizing it in that moment almost.
Okay, interesting. I will. No, I'll leave that part to myself. All right, that's all I need. Congrats, final three. I will see who I'm voting for.
Sanam.
Real quick,
Oh,
I just want to say real quick, because I was gonna say it earlier and then shit happened and I was still raising my fucking hand. Um, but Noah, when you said you like gave me an apology for what you said, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for not as being transparent with you as I should have been. And I just wanted to say that like it was no apology needed, because in a way that like comment was exactly what I needed to hear to like start reevaluating and like, okay, I need to do something. Like I need to stop playing just pure emotion and, oh, somebody's gonna be mad at me. I don't want to make people mad at me. And like that was the moment that I really, started to like reevaluate myself. And I think hearing that was what I needed to get here.
Noah?
Um, yeah. Okay. With that being said, not to be like off that point. Okay, from that moment on, there was, I don't know, like 9 or 10 votes or rounds or whatever. What move do you think genuinely like you made, or just or around that you had a lot of impact in? Just a straight answer, because I'm sure someone wants to get more of that, but I'm just curious because I want
So
to ruminate on that.
yeah. The round that was really the turning point, I talked about it a little bit, was one where I made a move that didn't work, and that was trying my hardest to save Josh. Um, because we'd had a really transparent, honest conversation, and I was like, I think I can work with Josh. And I really worked my ass off, and that was the first time I really took an active role in the game um, to try to save him. And it didn't work out. But at that same time, it kind of was the moment that I was like, oh, I can make decisions, I can be decisive. And that was the moment when really the truth tellers, like that alliance of four, started. And on every vote after that, like there was discussion, there was, how do you feel about this, where do you feel about that, and we just started really all having like this huge say on what was going on.
All right. Now we're going to move on to Josh. Austin is not with us yet whenever Austin comes in, but Josh is here now. So, Josh, the floor is yours.
Jesus, I don't really even have much. But like questions. But okay. So like a big part of what I like to vote for a winner is like how their story kind of translates with mine, because like I want to vote for someone who I feel like I shared this game with. So like Nova, I just want to say like I really appreciated our conversations near the end of the game, even like the good, the bad, the ugly. I thought it was amazing. Like it's like conversations I'm going to remember forever. I just want to ask you, because I know a lot of the people here have been saying that in the jury, that when that you had, I guess, offered yourself to be voted off at certain points near the end of the game. And I was wondering if that was strategy, if that was true or not.
So I never really offered myself to be voted off. There were times that I had a lot going on. At one point in this game, my mother was in an ambulance and I was on call with my mother getting loaded into an ambulance. And there were moments that I did get really vulnerable and go like, oh, well, I don't want you guys to hurt, like da 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 da. Like I never said like, oh, just vote me off. Like there was never that kind of conversation. There was only just like vulnerable moments where I was like, I hate having to hurt people. Like I wish I didn't have to do this. Like sometimes I think it would be easier. And like I think it's natural to have those thoughts. And I think it's natural, especially when you've got a lot going on, to struggle with those ideas. And like ultimately, I feel better knowing that I had those thoughts and never really put anything into action, never really even got close to quitting, but like allowed myself to feel those emotions, allowed myself to be vulnerable, allowed myself to talk through those weak points, and then move forward from there.
Of course. Yeah. No, I mean, I myself felt extremely burnt out and exhausted, and points where like I was completely content if it was my time. I just want to make sure, just because some of the jurors were talking about that and I didn't know the situation.
Right, Josh, before we get to your second thought, Scott.
Okay.
I can't remember to unmute. Sorry. There were two instances in the group chat of the four where you did say that we could vote you out at final four, if everything worked out and we got there. So I guess my question is, what do you think you would have actually done if that had all panned out? Do you think you would have still felt that way, or do you think you would have like changed it up and
I think I just really wanted you. I was saying constantly like, you guys could vote me out at final four and I'd be happy, because I just wanted to give you guys like, I love you guys and nothing you do is going to make me mad. Like I didn't mean it as like, oh yeah, you should just vote me off because I don't want to win. I meant it as like, there's nothing you could do at this point that would make me mad at you, that would make me not care about you. That's how I meant those things. But sometimes I do stumble over my words, and I will give myself that immediately.
All right, back to you, Josh.
Okay, Jess. Man, I feel like you fucked up my game so fucking much in this game, like crazy. And that's okay, because you know what? This is your redemption story. And I mean, I think you crushed it. I want to know, like, where did you think, where do you think you stood on my trust rankings in the game?
I think that I was pretty high. I thought that you had Juan as your number one, and that maybe I was like number two or three with Alex in the equation.
Okay, but so did you like why did you like leak my advantage and do all that knowing it would like really fuck up my spot?
Because I wanted to get what I wanted to get done that round. I had been telling you for like 2 days. I was like, I'm really worried about Austin in the game. Like, like I can entertain this like the gong thing that you like wanted so bad. It's like kind of iconically terrible that you going is like kind of what made that actually happen. It was so bad. But sorry, I blacked out for a second. But what did you one more can I say one more time? I'm so sorry.
If we could let Alex hop in here.
Yeah, Alex, hop on in.
Yeah, I got stuff to say, mostly about Josh. Only be only because like we were talking before about like, oh, we don't want to put gonging, so let's get Alex out, whatever. I would constantly strategize with Josh, but the strategizing was me saying, ooh, what if we flip things around and we get like Renique out, or like what if we flip things around and we get Juan out, like someone else from our, and he would just go, no.
Look, I love the good pagong, but
No,
No, it
like
was it was like
I
really
mean,
funny.
y'all were all my people, so it's like I'm not gonna try to turn on y'all. But
No, yeah, the reason why I did that was because I had been trying to be like so upfront with you about like we can do this, but like if I'm gonna say okay goodbye to like the OG Sidious from my swap tribe, the one person that makes me the most nervous in this game was Austin, and I was like, why is Josh like so stubborn on like keeping this like one person in the game that like I'm saying like I feel very nervous about. And then I was like really nervous when you were asking me to use my power to save him after I had like been saying for like days, like, I want this person out. Like, I felt a little bit unheard in that moment. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I really wanted to like ride it out with Smoke and Jays, but I was like, Josh, like, why aren't you listening to me? Like, like I want to feel like I'm being heard. And
no,
that's why, yeah.
I know. And my last question to you is, what's the difference in playing with me like a couple years ago in your first game to now?
It's obviously been majorly different. Like I felt like last time you were like super game bot, like super into it and everything. And like this time I feel like, it's clear that like you haven't been playing like as much, like you weren't like as much like in that game body headspace. Like I know you have like stuff going on that like I don't want to like bring up, in Flipper's spot, but I know you have things going on. So I feel like you were like a little softer this time. So I was like, it's just been like very interesting because like obviously like we have like our crazy story from like our first season where like you cut me and it was brutal and all these things. But like this time I was like, he's more loyal to me this time. But like when it came to all this Austin stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, is Josh trying to pull the rug over my eyes and like get me to like do what he wants and then is gonna do it again. So that was a real concern for me.
Yeah. And okay. And then my last thoughts, I guess, is to like Tyler N. Um, so like when I first like saw you in the game, like you were someone who I really, really wanted to like open up with and play with. And like I told you that like vulnerability was huge for me. And I just felt like, throughout the whole experience there was like this brick wall. And I don't know if it was me or if it was, your game, but like when talking to you, it just always felt very diplomatic, like I'm, talking to like Chat GBT sometimes, where like I don't mean that as an insult in any way because I love AI, but like what I mean is I felt like, you know, either you didn't want to play with me, which is fine, or like you always kept me very in a cold distance, even when I was trying to like break in. I really felt like I tried. So I just want to get a little bit of insight on that because yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we would have had a better shot at me breaking down that emotional barrier if we had stayed on the same tribe for the swap. Because I do think that me, you, and Alex finally had a breakthrough conversation the night that Ketty went home. And that was kind of the start of like, oh, maybe like Josh and Alex are these people who have been in the org community for a long time, right? Y'all have played season 1 and 2. Alex, I watched you host an org before I saw you play an org or got to play with you. And I think that the swap kind of killed that momentum a little bit, to be honest. And then when I come back, like we come into this merge, Karen goes out and then I go out off a miss. I want to like
Oh
you were
yes,
the
talk to me about the Karen boot and the infamous lie or not
the
lie.
infamous lie, the reason that I got booted. When Karen left, Karen and I were close. Karen and I had a lot of good conversations. I felt like I could trust Karen, so I couldn't vote Karen out. The night that happened, I did message you that yes, I voted with you. And you were the only person that I said that to and didn't. I think I said it to Juan too, and I said, Juan, no, hold, pause, flip it. Did not vote with you. And so there was this like level of you were the only person who I had told that to that I didn't correct myself. And so when I came back into the game, I was like, was this because of Josh? Like, was I out because Josh was like, hey, this was said, here you go? Or was it because I didn't straight up tell Alex or Austin where I voted? Like, I don't know. And so I was really trying to feel that out. And by the time we got to your vote, Josh, like you and I had a good conversation of like, we're done with the bullshit. We just want to figure out a way to move forward. And I was like, Josh, your name's on the block here. Like, I want immunity. Tell me who you want. Let's go. And you told me Denson. And I did ask a couple people and I said, what do we think about Denson? And everyone was like, absolutely not. And I was like, well, I tried. I really did try to reach out and see if there was a way that Josh and I could work together. But I do think the biggest barrier was like you and I'm much more candid in person. I don't use ChatGPT to respond to you all. I can promise you that. I take the compliment very well, but
No, I know.
I think one thing is like getting on a you and I just were not able to like actually link up on a call. And so you weren't able to get like this level of transparency and vulnerability from me because I don't filter myself when I'm talking to you all
Yeah,
on.
and that's
So
okay. I know I mean I wasn't vulnerable to like a good chunk of people here.
yeah,
But like the people who I were like Jess and Nova, like I, like that shit is what really gets me,
yeah,
loving these games.
absolutely.
So,
I do love you. Let's go to a basketball game sometime.
please,
It'll be a lot of
please.
fun. I'll be
Um,
vulnerable at the game. It'll be great.
but obviously, best of luck, have fun, and I'll chime in if I need to. I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Josh. We are now moving on to Jacob. Jacob, the floor is yours.
Finally, I get to
Excited.
speak. Jesus. Um, anyways, congrats to the final three. I was mad at one, maybe two of you on my way out. I can't stay mad for long. I'm pissed. I want to be a bitter juror, but I can't. But I instructed you all to bring a writing utensil and something to write on. And so, yippee, y'all did
That
that.
was you.
That was me. I asked y'all to do
Uh,
that. Yeah, better I brought one. But because we're gonna play a game called Sensitive Matters because touchy subjects is copyrighted and I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I'm going to ask you a superlative, right? And you have to provide me an answer of someone on the jury. There's two caveats to this, though. One, you can't answer the same person for consecutive questions. So this first question, if it's who has the best music taste and you put Juan because that's the correct answer, then you can't answer Juan for the second question after that. You gotta have to give someone else. And two, I'm gonna randomly call on one of you to explain your answer. So if you're gonna try to bullshit and try to come up with some answer on the fly, thinking, "Oh no, they're gonna know I'm not talking about them," you better be prepared for an answer when I call on you. I won't say who I'm gonna call in advance. I'm gonna see your answers and decide right then and there. Some of these are nice, some of these are not flattering. So you're gonna get a chance to maybe appease a juror, and you're gonna have the chance to potentially piss off a juror. All right, y'all three ready? Woohoo. All right. Give me a thumbs up whenever you have your answer written down. You'll reveal, and then I'll ask one of you guys about it. All right. Question one. Which juror would you most want to stay in contact with outside the game? The game's all said and done. Who do you see right afterwards, being able to pick up right where you left off. I got thumb up from Tyler. Got thumb up from Jess. Got thumb up from Nova. All right, 3, 2, 1, review. All right. So Sanam, Jacob. Okay. Nova. You won't get to explain it. I'm not.
I'm not trying to pander. That's just how I feel.
No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tyler. That wasn't probably your answer was probably the one I was most intrigued by. So why is Sanam the jury you most want to stay in contact with outside the game?
Either the last day or the second to last day Sanam was in this game, we had shared voice memos that found out that we have way, way, way more in common than we thought. Sanam and I both, throughout our lives, have attended the Boys and Girls Club, me in a staff member capacity and Sanam as a member. Number one, that was really cool to just be able to talk and be like, oh, I planned some of the experiences that you might have gone through as a kid. So to be able to like actually talk more about that and learn like maybe we do have way more in common, like we're on different sides of the country. The second thing is Sanam and I are both in the legal field, and I want like for me as a sports lawyer, like it's a really cool opportunity for me to get to connect with other people who understand the things that I've gone through. And so for Sanam, I want to be a support for your 3 years of law school to be able to answer any questions that you have. And be able to like continue getting to know like what random things that we have in common from when we were kids. So
also because I'm so cool, right?
And you're cool.
Damn, this isn't about you. This is about the I'm just kidding. All right, next question. Which juror were you most sad to vote out? Like, damn, I didn't want to do it, but I had to for my game. At the end of the day, it's a game. It's not just a game, but it is a game. People's feelings and get in the way sometimes. You build genuine bonds with people. You have to vote someone off. So who are you most sad to vote out? Okay, got some thumbs. Don't have all 3 thumbs though. Yeah, I have all 3 thumbs. 3, 2, 1, review. Okay, so Tyler said me. Nova said Sanam. Jeff said Noah. What am I gonna explain? Nova. Why was I guess this is about Sanam. Why was Sanam the person you were most sad to vote out?
So we talked about it a little bit already, but Sanam unfortunately just kind of ended up getting in the crossfires of me realizing that I wasn't as tight in things as I thought I was. And I did not want to vote her off. I did not, but I had already said that I didn't want to vote off Jacob, and I couldn't go like, well, not this person either. And I felt fucking awful about having to vote off Sanam because I adore her. And she, like, honestly had some of the best, most like personal conversations with her. And it really like it hurt, but like I knew I had to get rid of her if I was going to be in a more stable position.
All right, we move on to question 3. Which juror were you happiest to see on the cast preseason? So when the cast reveals coming in, all the people are trickling into the chat. Who are you happiest to see on this cast before the game even started? Like, damn, I want to link up with this person. Oh, great, it's nice. I get to reconnect with this person for any reason. Got thumb up from Jess. Got one from Tyler. Got one from Nova. 3, 2, 1, review. Okay, Nova said Juan. Tyler said Scott. Jess said Scott. So Jess, I've asked those 2 to explain your answer. Explain yours. Why was Scott the person you were happiest to see preseason?
Because I had like viewed Scott's season, and like I knew that like me, we were both like robbed pots, third place icons. Also, whenever I see Scott around, like he like tends to like work with people that like I like love so much. And like I don't know, I saw his like confessionals and everything on his season, and they were just like so like deep, and like we're about the game, but also we're like super deep. So I was like really excited to like get to know Scott and like play with him in this game, and like I'm like really glad that I got to do that.
All right. Question 4. We only got a couple more here. We got 4 more to be exact. Which juror are you least expecting a vote from? So which juror is like, nah, they're not voting me. Maybe you burned them too much tie after tie. Do his thumb up.
Not tie after tie.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't there for the nicknames.
After
You weren't
time.
there for the Red Wine Supernova. Raise their thumb. Just waiting on the Loch Jess Monster for their thumb. Period. All right.
I
3,
love
2,
those
1.
nicknames. I love them
Reveal.
so much.
All right. Alex. Oh, Jess says Jacob. Nova says Sadam. Damn. I didn't want to call it someone who said me. Jess, why don't you think why don't you think you have my vote?
Because I voted you and I fucked on you so bad there. I was like, Jacob's gonna be so mad at me. And then like I also on my really long call with Denson, like he told me that you were really upset about how like, you know, like I screwed over Sanam the round before. And I was like, oh my gosh, Jacob's gonna like hate me for this. And yeah, so that was like the reason. I was like, I love Jacob, but I think he's gonna be mad at me.
All right, then. Actually, I'm gonna ask the other two to explain their answers too. So Tyler, you're up. Who'd you put down as your answer? Alex, right? Why isn't Alex giving you?
I wanna squash this right now. Alex, I do not hate you. I promise you with all my heart, I don't hate you. But I really think like because we were I think you're someone who would be like, oh, I respect the game you played throughout. But I think initially my gut reaction was, I don't think Alex will ever give me a vote, no matter how much, just because of the beef that we had.
Well, I will say, in my eyes, the beef got squashed once you came back into the game, and I will
Yeah.
leave it as that.
I appreciate that because I felt the same until I heard your name in that
And then
room.
you
I said,
voted
well,
for it.
all right.
Okay.
And Nova, explain your answer too. Why aren't you getting Sanam? I think was your answer.
Yep. Before.
Yeah. Because I did Saddam dirty. Like, and I fully own on that. And I am so sorry because you deserved more transparency from me for sure. And like, you're someone that I really consider a friend. And there were a couple votes I felt guilty about, but I really felt guilty about yours. And that's if I didn't get your vote, I would not blame you for a second because you deserve better.
Sanam, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to just first of all, Noah, in-game personal grumpy, outside it's for the game. I just want to ask publicly, did anyone ever tell Alex about the alliance chat called Waha for We All Hate Alex?
I said that name was in poor taste, and I still stand by that.
I said we don't hate Alex right off the bat and made a confessional about it, but I just needed to see if anybody had told Alex this because it was literally just all the people who voted Alex.
Yeah. I suggested the name because
Jacob.
I could make that joke with Alex because I love Alex. But in these games, me and
he
him
doesn't know. He doesn't understand what you're talking about, Jacob. Why don't you explain to him what the name means?
Yes. Waha. We all hate Alex. That's the acronym. We all voted for Alex. Therefore, we must hate him.
You're killing this kid, man. Like you're breaking his heart.
All right.
Anyways, we gotta move forward with my question.
Yeah, Jacob, can we come back to you? We've got 4 more jurors to get to, so I want to come back if we get more time. All right, so on to the next juror in line, and that would be Ren. Ren, you are up. Denson, you have to go last, right? So Ren's up next.
Okay, wait, can I see myself?
No, we can see you.
Okay, question. What if you guys had to choose just one defining moment that you're like, okay, I don't have a speech, I don't have anything. What's one moment that you're like, if I tell them this, I'm winning? You know, like how Marianne had that one moment when she showed us the idol in Survival? What's your one moment?
First off, I love Marianne, and she was actually someone I try to base myself off of because I feel like she's someone who plays very vulnerable, very herself, and like uses that as a tool to get underestimated. So very good question. I love that. One moment, like just a single moment.
Just one.
I would go for the white elephant challenge, actually, because I got second to last. And I knew that the best thing to do for my group would be to keep the extra vote, let Jess get the immunity. Everybody's happy, everything's good. I then went, but wait, it actually works a little bit better for me if I grab the immunity and I snatch that. And then I knew, because Jess was really close with the group, Jess was really good with the group, that she would probably not take it from me. And that is what ended up happening. And I think it added a little more attention on Jess, which was something I needed at that point. And I think it was part of what allowed me to get to the end in like the secure, more secure spot than like I think I had before.
Okay. Next person.
I'll go. My defining moment also was that same round. I knew that I wanted to get the extra vote for our group, and I was willing to sacrifice the immunity there because I knew that I was going to be okay because I had enough people in my corner that I wouldn't be going home. And even when I gave up the immunity despite winning that challenge, I ended up getting one vote. And then since I had the extra vote, I was able to be the person that made the decision on who ultimately was thrown on that round. And so I threw it on Jacob. The tie happens. And then I play my tarot card to see where the vote was going to actually be going, said it out loud. And then the votes obviously sent Jacob home. And then, yeah, after that, I got immunity and then I got past the idol. So I feel like that was probably the most defining moment for me because I was able to like give up immunity. I was able to, take out a very well positioned person in the game that would have probably compromised my ability to get here. So yeah, sorry, Jacob. I'm sorry, Jacob.
My defining moment. Okay. Yeah. My defining moment is having 10 votes against me for the game to be voted out. That is all in one round. I did not receive a vote at all the rest of this game. And if everyone does vote for me, I would get 10 jury votes and then have equal votes 10-10. So I think that could be pretty cool. But I think my defining moment was getting voted out, coming back in, being here.
Okay. All right. Good answers.
Okay, Ren is gone, and
She left.
All right, so hopefully Ren got everything she needed.
No,
oh, okay.
You just
turned
said
your cam
mic
off
drop
and dipped
out.
No. I said let me check my chat. I wrote down the questions.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Back
Sorry,
to
one
Ren.
second. Oh, that's such a. I just want to know. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. For Jess, I just wanted to know, where was I on your trust ranking list? Just a quick thought. Like, how did I play into your game?
Honestly, so in the very beginning of the game, when we were on a tribe, you were my number one. I was like kind of like going back and forth between you and Juan, but then we swapped away. And I actually like got a couple powers like in the pre-merge, like when we were away from each other. And like the power that I played on Juan to yeet him from the tribe, I almost used on you. And so like I felt very close to you. Later, obviously in the game, like, I voted you out over Josh, but it doesn't mean that I didn't trust you. It was to be completely honest, it was because we just weren't able to talk quite as much. Schedules didn't quite help. Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nova, your last question. Hold on. It says, earlier you said you wanted me out. So what was the purpose of the explanation the night of my vote, of me not going out? When you, Sanam, Jess voted for me, and then I'm like, okay, but then you gave me this long explanation of why like, what was the game move into that, of you explaining all of that? Was that a game move?
It was a game move and a personal move.
In what
It
sense?
was me being like, okay, so I wanted I wanted Ren gone. Ren didn't go. Let me go to Ren and see if we can hash this out and like talk about it and explain. Like, yes, I knew that it was going to be better for me on of game sense to see if I could hash things out with you and see where we stood. But also on a personal sense, I wanted to like check in with you and like let you know like on a game level why I did what I did and like see if we could talk a little bit more and connect a little bit more because I think a lot of times we just didn't get to talk a lot because our schedules kind of like weirdly ate into each other. So yeah, it was both game and personal, me coming to you and like hashing it out. And honestly, that conversation where we like were just very blunt with each other was like very helpful and like just a really nice conversation. And like I definitely came away from that being like, okay, I feel way better with Ren now. Like, and that's why
Okay.
I didn't feel the need to go after you again.
Okay. Good to know. Just two things, just to talk about myself. I have my schedule conflicts with everybody, and I forgot the second point. But Tyler, your turn. Um, Dynamic duo. Did you really have rings? What was that about? Because I know you were playing my ass real bad. What was that about?
Renique, when we had the candid conversation about half tokens and rings, I was dead serious. And then I found out that Sanam was like, here, have my half ring. And you never came and told me about it. And I said, this bitch, I have been played left and right. And so I think you know that there was a point where like communication with us kind of dropped off. And I
Right.
learned that from you because you said, if I don't have anything nice to say, if I don't have any game to talk, I won't reach out. And so I took a step back and I said, if Renique wants to play with me, Renique will reach out. Renique will be the one to take a step forward and say, hey, let's figure out something. But we
Okay.
were one ring away and we could have combined our tokens.
Okay. Another thing on that point, sorry.
Oh,
You
you're good.
said God damn, I forgot my thoughts already. It's okay. You know what, guys? Congrats. I did have a question for you, but I forgot. I'll peep in back when I remember.
Sounds good.
And we will circle around to make sure everybody feels satisfied before we close the round table. So our next juror is going to be Scott. Scott, the floor is going to be yours.
All right, strap in, bitches. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be selfish for 1 minute. I'm like so excited that you three made it. I'm obviously like disappointed because I wanted to be there with you, but it doesn't work like that. Which leads into my first question. I have two. In Once we made that alliance of four, we often talked about like, wow, this is like the most functional alliance I've ever been in. This is super democratic. And we always hash things out. And that was really important for me. I think that's the only time I've ever been in a game where something like that happened. And for as crazy as this game was, that was something that is like extremely memorable for me. So now hearing all of the other moves that were going on, which we all have to do, I would love for you to share with me, like, how important was it for you, if at all? So let's see, Jess, you're first on my list because you're the highest on the screen. So lay it on me, sister.
You want to know how important the alliance was to me?
Yeah.
Oh my
If at
god.
all.
Oh my gosh. The Truth Tellers, like, once the Truth Tellers was formed, I was locked the fuck in. Like, I was like, I love this alliance. Like, this is so good. It's like the Misfits coming together and, like, you know, taking the game back. And, like, I was so loyal to that alliance. Like, I was not going to turn on it, period.
Tyler, you're next in order on the screen.
That's great. When I was first added to it, I was really confused because I didn't feel betrayed by anybody else. So you three came to me, and all of a sudden I was in this alliance, and the three of you were like, Tyler, you have been lied to, you have been backstabbed, you were voted out, and you came back in. And I said, I'm aware of the last one, but I feel really good with my group of five of Jacob, Sanam, Denson, Scott, me in the Waha Alliance. I felt really good about that. And so for me, I had to level and switch my strategy completely because I knew that I was going to get more information from the three of you candidly than I would anybody else. And so it became more important as the game went on, but I was very confused as to why I was added. And like it was really funny because the term misfit kept coming around and I was like, I feel pretty connected with everybody. I don't feel like a misfit in this game. I don't feel like I've been cast aside. Like I'm talking to Josh and I'm talking to Renique and I'm talking to Juan and I'm talking to Jacob and Denson. And so if you had asked me when it was final 10, Josh goes home, this alliance was made, I would have said very low on my list. And the more information I got, the more I realized I had to write it out with y'all.
I will respond to that. I do find it interesting that you perceived us saying we were misfits because I don't think we ever framed it that way. I think a lot of where we came together was partly from Nova feeling left out of a lot of things, and that was one of the things that drove it together. But ultimately, I think it started because we found out we were all in these groups with Jacob, Denson, and Sanam.
Yeah, yeah, I felt like I was kind of brought in, and maybe the term outcast was thrown out more than the term misfit. But this feeling of like separation between us four and the rest of the cast, I never felt personally. So when I was
I don't
at
think
it,
I felt that way either. But
yeah,
it was like a
but
functional for us for all being for being in
yeah,
the positions that we were. But I mean, this is why I asked this question because I want to know everybody's perspectives. Nova, it's your turn, and then you're in my part two. So be ready.
So those are tornado sirens, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm sorry, guys. This is a recurring theme in my life. But what was the question?
If you need to get
like,
No,
can we pause
okay.
for a minute? Do you need to leave, Nova?
yeah, if you need to get shelter, because those are
For like Val or the other side.
I don't think it's for us. I think we're okay. I think it's okay. Those are legitimately tornado sirens, but I think we're okay. No, Truth Tellers was fucking everything for me. And like misfit outcast, like hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. And like for me, Truth Tellers was like water in the desert. And I do tend to like really latch myself onto people. And like the second that I felt like I could like really latch myself in there, I was like, these are my people. I'm not going anywhere. I am stuck to you like a tick. Like to me, like in Truth Tellers, I had some of the best conversations, some of the best like funny moments. Like I go back to the fucking that time on the call where I'm wearing the fucking stupid little baby mask and Tyler's hiding his face. Scott's got 3 glasses on, and like the second Truth Tellers happened, and like there's a lot of people in this game that I really latched onto and I really connected to. And like there were a lot of people in this game that I was like, oh, this is like a person for me. Like this is my person. But like when I got into the Truth Tellers, it was like, this is my home. Like I feel like this is the connecting piece. And like for me, that group and that like bond we were able to form was everything. And specifically that call you and I had where I started pulling out the tarot cards, like I can't tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 what that meant to me. Because once again, I've been going for a lot in real life. Everybody has. Like a lot of people have dealt with that. And I don't want anything like of that to go in. But because I was in a vulnerable real life situation, sometimes my emotions were bleeding out a lot. And I like when you had that call with me, I really felt like, oh, I am supported. And like that was what I needed. And not saying other people didn't support me, because obviously I got an insane amount of support this game. But like for me, Truth Tellers like really was like an amazing experience for me.
Okay, here's part two. And Nova, this is for you, hopefully, if your house doesn't get blown away. I would like you to pull a tarot card and then read us what it says.
Oh my God, I was hoping this would happen.
I was going to make you pull 4, but then I said, well, there's a tornado coming. So 1 is good. 1's enough.
I pulled one before the game started. Coach is going to roll his eyes. But
I want you to pull 1 now, right?
Okay.
Like 1 right now.
Yeah. I got it. Tornadoes.
I know, right? Well, the tornado card.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be funny?
If a tornado blows Nova away, we're stopping FTC, by the way. Just straight up.
Well, hopefully it doesn't blow them away.
We're
Let's
all
let
in
them away.
consent
Let's
of
not
that.
let them blow them away. So
If my house gets destroyed by a tornado, do I win by default?
Get me Wizard of Oz.
Kaleidoscope, tornado. I don't know.
You can get the game prize.
Shuffle. Okay. Queen of Coins.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know what that means.
Let me. Okay. The Queen of Coins is a smart and calculating figure who cultivates material abundance for herself. As the owner of a pawn shop, Madame Medusa exemplifies the entrepreneurial spirit of the Queen of Coins. This card represents prosperity, success in business, and a happy home life. I do find that's a funny thing to like get after like me just like gushing about the truth tellers. Happy home, you say?
Thanks for doing that. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm glad we got to play together. I hope you had fun. I hope we can all be friends after this. I don't know. Like, I know that's like the famous org thing is you make all these connections and it ends and you're never talking it. But I'd love to chat with you all again someday.
All right. Juan and Denson have decided to swap places, so we're going to go to Denson next. Denson, the floor is yours.
Okay. Congrats, all three of you. I'm actually really happy to see that the jurors didn't come in flashing their dicks trying to show you guys up, because I feel like the three of you deserve to be here because you made it here. You know, no one really gives a shit who was controlling this, that, and the other, because at the end of the day, it's you three that were there. I don't really have any gripes with any of you. It's a game. The game ends when I get voted out. I'm going to ask my question. Tyler, I'm going to pick on you for just a second because it's something you said earlier, and I don't want to put you in a bad spot. You said that
That's what this is for, Denson. So
you said you didn't go out of your way to make those social connections. You know what my question is going to be. Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like
I feel very prepared?
Okay, so I'm not gonna be a dick like asking you something. Okay, I didn't want to. Yeah. So we'll start with you. For you, something that you either learn or whatever about Alex in the game.
What I learned about Alex, other than individual accomplishments, like being able to not only run a random theater show of whatever he was doing at the time, and also mod or like prodding a game and also playing this. One thing I learned about Alex is the opportunity for forgiveness. So past the things that Alex does and the basic things that you can gain from one conversation. Alex and I obviously had what I would consider a minor rivalry in this game, where it just looked like from the outside, everyone kind of put us against each other when I came back. And so what I learned from that is the opportunity for Alex and I to express forgiveness, which I think has been shown tonight. This is something, Denson, you talked about pretty lengthy, of the opportunity to talk about what you've learned about other people in these games. And so Alex, I've learned that from you as well, of the kind of person you are at heart, not just what you do, but who you are as a character. And it's something I really appreciate. And I'm excited to continue to get to know you outside of the game.
And same question about myself.
Denson, do you remember the night that we talked about Parker Posey? And
okay,
we
that's all I need to know. That's all. That's, you know what? Parker Posey. We can leave it there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Parker Posey. Great. Nova, we'll go with you next. What are some things or a big thing that you learned about Ren in this game?
One thing I learned about Ren is that like she is always so like willing to like learn shit. One of my favorite things with Ren was when we were on call and I was talking about tarot, and she didn't really know much about it. And at first she was just like, oh, I don't fuck with that. And like I was like, hey, would you be willing to like listen to me explain, watch me give myself a reading? And she was like so open to like learn. And like I feel like some of that probably comes from like what she does. And like I know Ren said she like babysits men for like a living. And I'm like, she's such a blunt, straightforward person, but can also be so patient and like so like willing to hear people, which is something I adore about Ren.
All right, same thing about me.
What can I say about you? We played this game lock and step in season 5, and like you were one of my like favorite people that I've met in the org community, and like every time I get to like see you, it's always fun. And like I learned that you don't I learned that you hate women about the freaking wrestling game, where I'm like, coach, why are all these matches men's matches? No, but like you are just always so fun and you're always so blunt, and like some of the conversations we had this round where it was like different of like playing lockstep last time and then getting to be not super adversarial with you but not always on the same page, and getting to like see that a little bit different and see how you handle that and like see how I handled that and like have those different interactions and just even get to know you even more than I did before.
Yeah. And then Jess, we'll start with Noah.
What I learned about Noah?
Yes.
I learned about Miss Mia.
Okay. And then how about myself?
For you, I remember so distinctly like that call that you and I had when you told me that story about you in the car. And then do you remember what I'm talking about?
In the car.
And like the it
You
was a
can
very
dox
like
me, like, yeah, I don't care what you, yeah.
it was a very like heartfelt conversation. We were
Oh,
basically
yes, that story. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We were talking about that. We talked very intensely about like the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that has to do with that. And you also shared with me that bit about your grandpa.
Okay. I'll give away the rest of my time.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll move on to Juan. Juan, the floor is yours.
Hello, hello. Happy to see me. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, congrats to all three of y'all for being here. This is a fun game. I honestly don't have a question. I played with y'all up until the last day the game could be played. So like, I don't, and yeah. So and I've sat here and heard everything you said. But I'll get to what I want y'all to do in a second. But I just want to go through and probably say a couple things about y'all. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with Nova. Nova, I love you. We played season 5 together, and it was kind of a turnaround, from that season, how we worked together this season. One thing that kind of like brought me down a little bit, I don't know, that's not the right wording, but you'll probably understand what I'm saying, is that I don't think anyone in this game, um, I lost my train of thought. I don't think anyone in this game underestimated you. Um, I really don't. I really don't. And also going back to the part where you're saying you got left out of a vote, I don't know about that part because even before that vote, it was always between Jacob and Sanam. So like the accidentally voting your number one, I'm confused on that. But I don't need an answer. I've heard you talk about it. I get it, but it's a lot's happened. But I do love you and know that you played a great game. You deserve everything you've done in this game, and you deserve to be here. But none of us underestimated you. Trust me. We knew. We knew. Tyler, we had an interesting relationship this game. In the beginning, we were all for each other, and I told you like if someone wants to ride with me, they're going to ride with me, and if not, it'll show. It showed. And Jess, no words, queen. All right, but I do want to give the last 13 minutes for y'all really don't have closing speeches, but this 13 minutes is going to be for all three of y'all to say what you want.
All right.
So
Renique is raising her hand first before we cut to that. Renique.
Sorry, I'm not very technologically inclined here. My question for Tyler is when I had that big ass blow up when I made the Awakening 2, and I literally gave you a cookie in your hand, and I said, you guys can have my vote because at that time it seemed like there was a clear divide and you could swing the game. I even offered Jacob up my vote, who I tried to vote out so many goddamn times just to see like what he would do if he wanted to vote out Sanam, what's her name again? Jess or Nova. Like I literally give you guys my vote on a platter. Why did you do nothing with it? Was it because you wanted to stay in the middle? Did you think like
Yeah. You sent that message the morning after, or late at night the night before. Regardless, it was after Scott had already added me to the Truth Tellers. And so I was getting a ton of information from three different people about where they were at in the game. And then you also did that. And Scott had already said, Renique added us to this group chat. Me, Jacob, Scott, and said, hey, here you go. Here's everything y'all need to know. And so for me, I was sitting there and I was like, I could choose one person to trust and ride with, and that's Renique. Or I can choose three people who are giving me all this information from different parts of my game, and that's
okay,
Jess, Nova, and Scott. So that's why I
right.
didn't go with
So
it.
right, if I'm saying if you had just Nova and Scott, that's three people, plus yourself is four. I'm willingly giving you my vote to
Mhm.
turn on anybody you want because I hated everybody at the time. Why did you not take it and say, okay, let me do something with it? Was it just not a thing where you're like, okay, I don't need the move. I'm more
Yeah,
comfortable with the three people that I'm with.
yeah.
Let me just ride. Is that what it
That
is?
was so Scott had already exposed it, and so I didn't feel like I could then do anything with it. When Scott
Okay.
brought it up to the group, I was like, that's dead in the water for me because
Oh,
otherwise I'm burning the bridge with Scott.
interestingly, Scott is the one who took me up on it. And that's how Scott got his way for voting out Sanam, actually, because I did not care to vote Sanam out at all. But
That's funny.
Scott
Well,
took it, did it, and he just did it. But that was just a question. Thank you. So basically, to conclude, you were just okay with riding with the three.
yes, I was
Okay.
right. I was okay riding with three people than one.
Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Scott, you had a follow up to that sentiment?
Similar, yes. I'm still kind of thinking about my question while we're on the topic. When we started that group of four, I explained to you what it was going to be before we even created it. So I'm shocked to hear that you felt like it was like you were randomly added to it and didn't know what it was for. I don't know. I guess that's all I wanted to say. Like I explained it to you before I added you to it. So
Not that I was,
I'm like
not
kind
that
of
I
scratching
was,
my head a little bit.
not that I was confused, like necessarily what it was about. I understood the concept that the three of you felt like you all were in groups, and you told me that I was included. I just didn't think personally that I was necessarily included. I thought I was good with Sanam, with Jacob, and with Denson.
I mean,
So,
and
for
you may
me as
have
a
been.
person,
I don't think it was
yeah,
necessarily that like we didn't feel included so much as like we were like,
I,
oh,
that's a lot of the
they have all
chat.
these groups. So it was
A
I don't
lot
know.
of the chat was
I'm
these
just
three are lying to us. These three are doing all of these things. And I was like, yep, like probably. And that's okay. Like I'm like I would have felt comfortable riding with that five, is what I was saying. But I was getting a lot of good information from Jess and Nova and you that I was like, why would I pass this up? Like why would I not contribute? I'm getting all of this information and I didn't ask to be included in this group.
All right. We're going to go back to Juan, and then we'll open up the floor to make sure everybody has everything they need before they vote. Juan?
Okay, yeah. Each of y'all have 3 minutes. You just tell me why I should vote for you. Yeah, yeah. I'm the important one right now. Yeah, 3 minutes to each of y'all, starting now. However long. No, the order I went and just tell me why I should vote for you, or why, how it impacted your game. Why not?
Okay. So about you saying like I wasn't underestimated, that's totally fair. Um, when you're in the game, you don't have the information of the jury. You can't see inside people's head. And that was just my perceptions, which obviously are not always going to be right. And for me, it's just perception is reality. And that's just in my head where I was and how I was running and like, just doing my best. And I think you should vote for me because I was once again at the top of like every social ranking. I tied for first in the javelin. I got good answers in touchy subjects. I was second in white elephant. I was busting my ass. I tried to make sure that I had like calls and did things and like he played games and like got good with everybody to the point that everybody was at least somewhat like, I like Nova, and insulated myself fairly well enough, despite, in complete honesty, not always knowing what was going on and not knowing what I was doing. And that's good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if Tyler's there, so Jess.
One, we have been together in this game from like day one. But that's not always the reason to like vote for somebody to win just because you have like a bond like that. I think that you should vote for me because genuinely I feel like I played like the strongest game out of this three. There were plenty of times that I took calculated risks and like left myself available to be like the round when I gave up immunity. Like, I was in trouble, but like I also kind of like also made sure to like socially set myself up so that I was like in the best position. And also like, another example is like something I wanted to bring up was like the fact that like I was past the idol once I got that immunity and I had it during final six and during the javelin. And I was able to convince the truth tellers that it's better that we don't use the idol because we are the Democratic Alliance. Because I knew in the back of my head that if we idled somebody else, that was going to make my chances of going home go up exponentially more. So even though I like had an idol and I could have been selfish and got myself safety, I like instead went to my alliance said and convinced them it's better if we don't use it and let the cards fall as they may. And I just feel like from like start to finish I've been always very calculated with what I've done. I actually feel like this is the most strategic game that I've played, and I feel like I don't know, I think that I deserve it because of course this game means a lot to me, this game means a lot to everybody, but I really do think that I was a huge threat especially because Denson was like singing at every tribal, like, Jess has got to go. You guys need to get Jess out. And like, that really was like stressing me out so much because I'm like, oh no, I can't have these three like turning on me. So I just like kept, keeping them pulled in. And yeah, so I feel like I just think that I've played the best game and I think that I deserve it. And I think that Nova and Tyler also played very stellar games as well. But out of the three, I think that mine was the strongest.
Thank you. One of the most interesting things that I've learned in the tribal council, well, not that I learned, but that I realized is every time I tried to tell you, like, Tyler and Scott are close, and you're like, no, they're not. And I said, just stop fucking with me. And this just proved it. Like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway,
I was closer
thank you
with
for
Jess,
that.
to be fair.
I knew that, dude. But Tyler.
Just to comment on that, Scott's the one who deflected onto me, so I would not have deflected onto Scott. Why you should vote for me, one. I didn't turn on you until the moment that I had to, which in my mind was final eight, when the additional vote was supposed to be you. Um, I also even then gave you information to be like, hey, like after that, I tried to give you a heads up that you were going in so you could practice. Ideally, in my mind, actually, you would be sitting here because Jess is a huge threat, and I love her dearly, and she has played a stellar game. But I think I have too. I think that I was able to communicate effectively enough that I wasn't giving my cards away. Multiple times in my prod chat, I was like, I'm in a group called the Truth Tellers, and I'm purposely withholding all this information. And I felt really bad about it, and also was trying to navigate how you're playing a game called Kaleidoscope that is based off Survivor, which is lies and deceit, and you are in an alliance called the Truth Tellers. My brain didn't fully calculate that. But I was able to use my social circles to get a lot of information that I needed to make the moves necessary in the game. And one of those was to be able to protect the people that I cared about personally and wanted to work with. So with you, Juan, I truly didn't put the knife in the back until I absolutely had to. And I apologize for that, but that was a game move that I had to make.
No, you're fine. I had something to say, but I forgot. I had a few things to say, but I just kept intertwining, and I don't know what to say to either of them. I know one of them things where you keeping your cards close to your chest, you didn't really have to because everyone already knew what the cards said. So that wasn't really but I think you did good for the game you played. You came back in, you did get targeted. And you never really got any more heat on you. I mean, you did, but you had people to deflect that, which one of them was me literally the entire time. Because when I tell you the amount of times that Josh and like Renique were like, let's go after Tyler, I was like, why? That's dumb. Even Jess, I was like, no, that's dumb. So yeah, I think y'all all played great games. Whoever gets my vote, I don't know. I guess you'll find out in a few minutes. But I appreciate y'all for playing or playing with me. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right. Before we go to vote, does anybody have anything else that they feel they need from the finalists?
$1 million.
I want Jacob to finish his game.
Yes.
Okay, but
All right.
all right.
Finish your game, Jacob.
But funny cutoff where we ended it, because that was the cutoff from it being nice to it being like mean. So we're gonna get back to that again. Same thing applies. I remember. Okay, so Jess said me. Tyler said Alex. Nova said Sanam for this last question. You can't answer us for the next one. Okay, for lack of a better word, which juror were you happiest voting out? Like you were thinking like, nah, I gotta vote this person. No hesitation. Like I need this person gone. Got thumb up from Jess Girly Things. Got thumb up from Tie Dye.
Sorry guys, sorry my camera's off. I have to
Got
go
one
feed
from
my
Nova Kane. All right, bet 3, 2, 1 review. Okay, Austin, Denson. Got some Austins in there. Tyler, explain to me why you were happy to vote Denson off. I mean, Austin off. My fault, Denson.
All good. Austin was someone who I never earned trust with in this game. Alex told me when we did the swap for tribes, like you gotta like connect with Austin. And Austin and I didn't end up on the same swap tribe. So when we merged, it was just like quick convos. Every time that we were on a video call, it was like 5 seconds, and it was like, "This is the plan. Cool, gotta go by." And so for me, like that was the easiest vote by far. I was like, "Oh, cool! Like this is someone who I don't trust at all, who I don't have any connection with." Boom, done.
All right, but which juror played the worst game? Like, damn, bro, you sucked. I know it's me, but you have to answer. You have to answer, juror. No, but does not want to answer this question, which is so real.
It's not that I don't want to answer. I don't want this to sound pandery, but I genuinely think everybody played a good game.
Okay, who played the worst game out of the good games?
Who played the worst good game? The least.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm like racking my head here.
Well, Tyler already knew. Tyler already gave me his thumb. So
Again, no emotion here. Like logic.
Okay, I got Nova's thumb. And I got one more question after this. And I'll lighten it up. 3, 2, 1 review. Okay, so Tyler said Ren. Nova said Ren. It just said John. I need to ask about that. So, Jess, why did Josh play the worst game?
Oh, Josh, I love you so much. Oh my gosh. So my thing with it is that I feel like Josh was a little bit hard-headed about wanting this Pagong so bad that I feel like it was like hard to like talk to him and have him see like anything else but the Pagong. It was Pagong or die, you know? So yeah, that's why I say that. Love you though, Josh.
All right, last question.
Going Pagong.
Which juror do you never want to play with the game ever again? That was meaner. It was just straight up DNP list, but just like, hey, if I never play a game with them, cool. I'm fine with that.
So funny that this is like towards like after we can't answer people else.
It worked out perfectly. It cut off right where it was getting mean. Like, damn. Tyler got his thumb up. Tyler, you're good quick with the thumbs. I gotta appreciate that. You were just like, oh, I know my answer already.
My pens aren't working.
I'm sorry.
I'm like trying.
If it's not working, then you can say your answer and then the other two can reveal it. No, but your pen's not working.
At least the tornado siren stopped. That's cool.
Yay. All right, bet 3, 2, 1 review. I was like, nah, they better fucking give me one of these. Nova, why did you say Austin? I think it's Austin. Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, because this was my third game with Austin, and I think we've been through every fucking arc we possibly can at this point. Like, Austin is the boogeyman in my closet, and I love him for that.
All right, well, thank you guys for participating in sensitive matters.
Wait, what did the other two say?
Jess said Austin as well, and Tyler said Jacob. I'll ask you that postseason, Tyler, because I didn't feel that way.
You can ask me now, but there's like a legit reason.
Postseason.
All right. Does the jury have everything they need to vote? This jury is ready to vote. Finalists, you've given up all you can. Your time is over now. It is now in the hands of the jury to determine who is going to be the winner of Kaleidoscope Olympic Games, the all-star edition of Kaleidoscope. When we return, I'm going off camera and I'm muting myself for the last time. So there is no talking about this vote or the game. And when I come back, we will have a winner.
Can I just say, I'm so happy to see you guys. I've genuinely missed you guys.
As always, now's the time for shout outs.
I was
Who
just
did you
gonna
miss the
say that.
most?
I need our traditional ones.
Shout out to Jackie from Padlock and Montes.
Sorry, Scott.
Wow.
I wanted
And that's why I voted you out again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Shout out to Chanel because she that girl.
Damn, you're right. And she gets 2 because you know what? Shout out to Chanel again because she will forever be that
She
girl.
did great for still making sure everyone pronounced my name right when I was first booting a game. Freaking icon.
Okay, last one. Shout out to all my prod guests. I love them dearly. So shout out to Jen, Topher, Chris, Sean, Mac, and Zach. If I'm missing anybody, I'm so sorry, boo boos, but you guys are really going for me in that prod chat. Love y'all.
Same
Shout out-
sentiment. Shout out to my
Did I
dogs
say
at the
Corey?
crib.
And Corey.
And Corey. Shout out to my dogs at the crib, aka my podcast, Austin and Taylor. I love you both so much. Thank you. And thank you to Sheena for watching online every day. I appreciate you and miss you so much.
I need to shout out my podcast. They've been so supportive to me throughout this whole season. Thank you, Jeff and Kilby, so much. Also, thank you so much again to Prod for putting on this game. It's been amazing. And also, shout out to all the jury, too. And everybody else that got robbed pre-jury.
Shout out to Timmy and Kit. Best prod guest I could ask for. Timmy is such a sweet and supportive and loving person. And Catboy at this point is Kaleidoscope legend. Always the little devil on my shoulder asking for blood. He's the best friend I could ask for, and I adore him so much.
Shout out to the
But you-
shot I'm going to take after the votes are read and we go to the reunion. It's just a preemptive shout out to Camarena Tequila. Yeah.
Tequila.
I have
She's ready.
I have a J ready.
Can we take a fucking shot now?
I mean, you haven't been all along.
Yes.
No,
Haven't you been playing the drinking game?
I
No.
would be such a hypocrite for saying like I don't want people to drink and
Can you
drink.
guys all take a shot for me?
Yes.
Why can't you take it, Chet?
Well,
why can't you
there's
do
a little thing called pregnancy.
And Sanam, we'll
Really,
take one.
really, really fat.
We'll take a shot for Sanam because we don't encourage drinking and driving.
Is there anyone else that we have to drink for? Well, I guess me, because I'm not drinking.
I don't drink, but
I'm not drinking anything.
Jacob, weren't you just downing a whole? I was gonna say.
A
If I say
whole?
two, if I say 2-4, do y'all know what I mean?
Is that like a Four Loco, but two of them?
No, like a 2-4. Ren, do you know what a
Four
2-4
Locos,
is?
you would die.
The two furry?
I don't know how to
Is that like a
explain it.
handle?
Two finished
It's a 2-4. It's like it's a 24 pack of beer.
Oh, okay.
Let's
It's
welcome our
pretty sure it's Canadian
PhD,
slang.
aka Just Mike.
Oh,
Mike?
oh my god, it's Michael McCullum. He's here.
Hi, someone's getting
Mike.
fought today. Noah, I'm gonna have my I told you so moment. I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
girl,
I love
wait.
you all.
You told me what?
Give us a couple minutes.
Girl.
Huh?
It's not
Give
even
us
the
a couple
reunion yet, and
minutes.
Mike's already like guns blazing.
Like,
I'm
Kid
kidding.
Blazing.
I'm kidding. I love you all.
I got some words to everybody in Michael's honor. Yeah, I'm gonna get y'all. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Love you.
Wait until
Love
the
you, boo boo.
reunion.
What's happening? I'm so confused.
This doesn't involve you, Scott. You didn't vote out Michael.
That's true, I didn't. I did vote for William that round because I had that random extra vote for the other tribe.
That was crazy because you had no idea, but then William actually ended up getting votes that round.
I just wanted him
Could
to
have
be
been-
panicked.
It could have been impactful.
It could have been. I don't know if it was. And then then after that is I think when I like was like, oh, sorry, I didn't have my phone. I couldn't pick a locker room. It's just to keep her from going into one.
I'm ranked number. Also, y'all, I'm ranked number 5 now in the texting. Like y'all rock. Y'all rock. Well, the ones who voted me out robbed me of being number 1.
No, Jen's number 1.
I don't think I
know.
would have
I'm
been
number 2.
if Mike continued on in this game.
The fact that
Right.
the fact that I'm 4 and Mike's right behind me, that says everything you did.
And my goal is to overtake Jen. I'm so close. I'm only a level and a half behind her.
Just so you know, guys know, this weekend I was at a spring break camp birthday party and we were like encouraged to be manipulative. I was like, guys, I got voted out for my game. I've got nothing but time to be chaos agent. I was stealing cards, I was making deals, and the game move for our LARP was me convincing another team that somebody else stole their treasure box, making them turn on their allies. So I'm better at LARPing than Survivor.
Fuck yeah.
Maybe you should play an LRG.
Oh,
Also, shout out from Tyler B. He sends his love.
period.
Love that guy.
Tyler, I adore you,
Break a
King.
leg, Tyler B.
Shout out to Ariana Grande because these bonus tracks, bitch.
Juan,
What you were doing.
Juan, what is your
Our
favorite?
booties.
What's my favorite one? Past Life.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But Twilight Zone's a good second. Dead and Lions,
Okay.
that girl. But Past Life.
Okay, wait.
beats- Sorry.
Twilight Zone and Hampstead. Sorry. I would love a good
Hampstead's
novel.
chorus is good, but Past
It's
Life,
just
I
the
don't know.
lyric, yeah.
I want to take an edible so bad, but I don't think a tornado warning is the proper time for that.
That's like the best
Yeah.
time. You
You're
wake up in
literally
Oz, girl. Wake up in
spinning out.
Oz. Wake up in Oz.
He
is here.
You
I
know,
can
Auntie
hear
M
them.
locked
We've
Dorothy
still never
out. They
met.
locked her out of the shelter. Like, it's crazy. They said, you're not coming in.
Keaton came to watch the fights go down.
Keaton, hi. We've never met.
Hi, Keaton.
Except like in the hunt.
Hi. Don't worry, Scott. I'm very familiar with you.
Is that good or bad?
We'll wait a couple more minutes.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
I'm gonna scream.
Oh my god, It's the reunion.
Hang on a second. My tablet just hit 10%. I need to move
Oh, no.
notifications. Hold on.
No, Jacob, you're banned forever.
Man.
You're shadow banned from Pride.
They only got to pick one from our season. It might not be
I'm
you.
not gonna be sad if I'm
I'll
there.
start with Prod now.
I'm not gonna be sad.
It just stuck my head.
Don't cry, Jen. Don't cry.
I was on Prod for one game and then they kicked me out because my friend died. That's not true. My friend
my
did die.
God.
That's not why they kicked me out. But they I don't know. It was weird. We don't talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. First off, I have the votes. But before I read the votes, if I could just be a little bit emotional for a second. This has been a incredible ride. If, hopefully we'll end up being able to come back and, with the force and do many more things. But if this ends up being the last season we've ever done, then this was so amazing. I could not have asked for a better all-star game. The fact that all of you said yes to coming here and playing almost most without hesitation, and those that second guessed it came back going, I can't miss this. So 100%, thank you so much, because without you, this game would not have been possible. And we are so appreciative that you dedicated so much time, energy, and effort to play this, because we do this for fun on our side. But if it's not for you guys wanting to come out and having fun, then this wouldn't exist. And so we are so grateful that you have all said such positive, beautiful things about us and this community. So keep coming back and playing more orgs and building this universe that we've all come to love and know so much. So thank you to the tremendous prod team that I have had over the several seasons, that hopefully will continue to expand and grow. I don't know, maybe we'll do a mini to hire the next prod representative soon. But yeah, so thank you so much to thank you so much to my wonderful wife Jen, Sean, Zach, Chrisanne, Corey. You all have been incredible. Mac isn't here right now. Caleb unfortunately had some side stuff that needed to be taken care of, but we are so grateful that everybody is here and rocking and rolling. So this is huge. I said it at the beginning of the season with the placements that you guys came in here with, that this may be the greatest org player of all time. We don't know. We'll find out. But this was definitely a season that was played on 100% hard mode. Everybody made at least top 6 or greater in their original season of playing. The average placement, I think we came in here with 2.56% was the
2.54, I think.
2.54 was the average placement. I don't know how many orgs have casted an all-star season where they've been able to get back every single winner and every runner-up, right? That's just right off the rip. Pretty incredible, with Caleb, obviously, season 7's runner-up being on prod. So here we go. And then we're going to have some fun. But we need to crown a winner first.
Topher?
Yes.
Can I play my vote nullifier advantage?
Oh my God, Scott. It's got to go and mute yourself. Okay. I have the votes. First vote. Jess. 1 vote, Jess. Tyler. 1 vote, Jess. 1 vote, Tyler. Jess. 2 votes, Jess. 1 vote, Tyler. Tyler. 2 votes, Jess. 2 votes, Tyler. Jess. That's 3 votes, Jess. 2 votes, Tyler. Jess. That's 4 votes, Jess. 2 votes, Tyler. Jess. That's 5 votes, Jess. 2 votes, Tyler. The competitor that bested all the rest, our Olympic Games gold medalist, Jess. Jess, you have defeated everyone. Congratulations. What do you have to say for yourself?
Thank you guys so much. Oh my god. I played the shit out of this game, and obviously this series like has so much sense. Oh my god. This game has so much sentimental value for me. It's the first game that I played. My twin sister brought me into this crazy fucking world. And like I didn't bring it up during like my speeches because I wanted to just talk about my game, but like one of my best friends that I've ever had in the whole world was Lucy, who got 6 in that game. And she passed away last year. And so when I came into this season, I like wanted to play my heart out for her. And I felt like she was with me tonight. And I just can't thank you all enough for crowning me as your gold medalist. Oh my God.
Thank you, Jess. Nova, Tyler, do you have anything you want to say?
Jess, that was a master class in Kaleidoscope, and you deserved every single vote. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jess. I am so fucking proud of you. You deserve it so much.
Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I like didn't expect to be crying like this. Oh my god.
Don't
Girl,
apologize.
cry if you need to cry. Let it out. It's
Girl,
good for you.
It's okay. You can afford the Charmin tissues now. Cry.
Not Charmin. Charmin make tissues now?
I don't know.
You said I can't afford that. I wouldn't know.
Oh my god, yeah, I got $300.
Since your family, we'll send it to you on Friday.
Since your family, they probably have to go. Hello.
By the way, you remember that $300 you told me?
That's so funny.
So we've got so much fun stuff to get to. We've got some incredible awards. We've got some mysteries of the season that I'm sure you're all waiting to find out. What was up with that 7 a.m. tribal? I don't know. We'll
I'm
find
still
out.
mad about it.
I forgot about that.
Traumatized. Jail. Whoever it was, jail. Straight
How many
to jail.
Tears.
Nova, you weren't even there.
The 7 a.m. tribal.
Thank
No, but you were
so
a mean
much
girl.
for
You're
playing with
welcome.
me.
I know, but it was still stressful. I still wake up at 7 a.m.
You're welcome.
I didn't even roll out
Nova
of bed.
having to wake
In
up.
bed.
That's the yes.
The most
in the
annoyed
middle.
person was Topher. Topher was like, "All right, guys, welcome to tribal. How do y'all feel?"
Oh my god! And then the gag of Kenny showing up like after the votes had already happened.
We're gonna get the slideshow up and running. I will be right back.
Period.
Missed that. Did Nova just confess to being the reason for the 7 a.m. tribal?
No.
Oh, I
Is this
totally
when I
missed
get my prod roll back?
No.
How dare you?
You'll
I will-
get it back eventually.
I will genuinely pay money for him to not get that roll back.
How much?
How much? How much? You
How
know I
much?
can be convinced.
I'll start at $1. I want to see if Jacob goes higher.
I'll
And
use
then
that $5 I found in the tunnels. How about that?
Wait. Why do I need to go higher? What am I paying you
Because
for?
because I feel like it's the only way.
Shared.
Just
Perfect.
making
Can
sure
everybody?
y'all can see it?
Yeah, we can see
Yep.
it.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic. All right, so we're gonna give away a couple of awards.
Just a couple.
Oh yeah, no, we have a lot of awards. We try to be equitable. Okay. All right, welcome. The next award is, or the first award. I need a pen. Biggest yapper. This is gonna go to the competitor that chatted the most constantly. Every time that there was an alert on my phone, it was from this competitor, whether it was in an alliance chat or whether it was to somebody else or whether it was a VLDR that was being sent. This competitor yaps nonstop all the time, and your nominees are
Sanam. Oh my god, not Sanam.
Not me.
Look in the mirror.
I do want to add in this context, being a yapper is a good thing. Just
Yes.
just so we
Oh,
can
no.
You know what? Celebrate yappers here. Go ahead and hit !rank in your prod chat. You'll see. The
Damn,
winner,
Rob.
the winner is Scott.
To the surprise of no one.
Scott. Congratulations. Biggest yapper. How does it feel?
It feels correct. I actually, fun fact, after season six ended when I was like at diving camp coaching, and at the end of that week, my paper plate was gasping yapper of the year. So it's been like it's just I'm fulfilling my destiny.
Yeah.
Why do you think I said I know so much about you? It's because you didn't shut the fuck up in your VLDRs.
Damn.
Do you hate everything you know?
No, I don't. But you sent like 3 after you got out, which I think confirmed
know.
this even further.
Wait, you guys could read them even though you were a pre-jury?
Yeah.
Once we weren't needed.
Yeah. Once the jury started, we sent the pre-jury to the spectators.
I'd love to reflect. What can I say?
All right. Next. Best production chat. Now, this just goes to not just the player themselves, but the other people in the players' chat and the content that they brought as well. Everything was a tight race because you guys would not be all-stars if it wasn't for your production chats to begin with. So just bear with us, but this is the top 3 as best as we could narrow it down. And that is Jess, Nova, and Jacob. And their prod guests, I believe Jess had Jeff and Kilby. Nova had Catboy, and Jacob had Catboy and Timmy. And then Jacob had Aaliyah and just Aaliyah.
And Seb.
Seb. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pay for that later. All right. And the winner is Jacob with the love of his life, Aaliyah and Seb.
This shit's rigged.
The fact that I won that award, even though you forgot Seb was in there, is what makes this even more fun.
I have a lot of responsibilities. Okay, on to the next. Best rivalry. Who was feuding the most during this season, or at least provided the most entertainment with their feud? And the nominees are
God.
Oh my
Ren
god.
and Jacob, Jess and Denson, and Ketty at 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
That's rotted as fuck.
Just y'all wait.
Y'all are wrong.
Oh my god, these are all good though.
That's
the big reveal that you all have been waiting for. The 7 o'clock in the morning was Ren. Ren did that to you. Ren made the.
Wait,
it was. Ren explained to them why they went to the JP at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Hi guys. I just want to say I think that was one of my best moves this season. The reason why they went to 7 o'clock is because I went to the tunnel 3 times. I'm surprised Scott didn't pick it up because I went 3 times. I went the first time and I got a half a vote. I'm like, this can't help me. So I gave to, what's that boy called? Noah. And then I went the second time. No, I don't mean it in a bad way, guys. I just don't remember names. Sorry. And then I went the second time and I was like, this cannot help me either. I don't remember what it was. I think it was an extra hideout hunt, and I gave it to Tyler. And then my third time, I was like, oh, choose a tribal. And I'm like, you know what? None of you guys deserve peace. So I made it 7 a.m. And then I know that nobody's going to think it's me because I'm on the tribe. So, and I was a loyal player last season. So I was like, why not? I wanted to make it 1 a.m. though. But yeah. Thank you, Topher. Thank you.
Thank you.
None of you deserve peace. I love you so much.
Oh my gosh. Poor Caddy literally gets the call to get on the hops on the Zoom, what is happening right now? And I'm like, unfortunately everybody's off camera and muted and I'm about to read the voting results. And then Caddy went home.
Crazy.
All right. Second place went to Ren and Jacob, meaning the winner would be Denson versus Jess. Rivalry before the season, bleeding right into the season, and played out. What an arc. what do you have to say for yourself, Denson and Jess?
Let's go, Denson.
Yeah, it was a fun. We already said if we didn't get it, it's rigged and it's bullshit. But no, just I said at the beginning, like you're a worthy competitor, and I'm really happy to see you come out on top. I did vote for you.
You did?
Of course I did. No, I told everyone they just didn't want to listen. It's fine.
Denson, I loved feuding with you so much this season. Honestly, like
it got me up in the morning because I had to beat you, and it just didn't work.
oh my gosh, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, on to the next. Most robbed juror. Which juror was just so taken out unceremoniously with still so much time left in the game? This was another one that was so hard because this entire boot order, everybody, like, there was no good boot order for this game was ever going to end up turning out. So, most robbed juror, and the nominees are Juan, Scott, and Alex. Juan for obviously being the fourth place forced fire making victim, Scott for being the victim of the javelin, and Alex for being the victim of the live night. And the winner is Alex. Alex, going into live night, did not see you being the one that was going to be eliminated. And by the end of live night, you were the one that was eliminated. What do you have to say?
I'll take it. Again, sounds like some bad moves were made that resulted in me getting out, so I guess it makes sense. So I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. All right. On to the next. Most robbed pre-juror. This would be the player that had the most unceremonious exit.
I think we know who it is.
Kenny, Brian, and Karen. Karen robbed pre-juror just simply because we were robbed of Karen on the jury. And the winner is... It's got to be Ketty. I mean, Ketty wasn't even awake from results to being voted out.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
He showed up and he's like, what's going on? And we're like,
I would try to wake
voting.
up from the nightmare, but it'd be real life. Like,
oh my God,
please. Kenny did it to himself by going to Jess saying, I thought you voted for me. Jess was like, oh, well, I really will now.
That was me, by the way. I was the one that voted for Ketty, just because I could tell he was like doing stuff early on, trying to get everybody on his side. And I was like, I want him to sweat a little bit. And I purposefully misspelled it.
And Tyler B was definitely heavy influence on the Ketty vote,
Yeah.
the vote that was happening. Like, I think Taylor B was the first to say, well, Ketty's not even going to be awake.
Correct.
Yep.
And I tried so hard to steer the ship. I really tried, but I didn't vote for Tyler B. I want to put that on the record too. That was not my vote.
We figured that when you were like, oh, I just did it anyway. And we're like, sure, Jan. But it was fine.
All right. Next up. Gone too soon. All right.
Karen, mother.
We just got to keep giving away awards. So this is for the players that we felt like we as production felt we needed more of. And the nominees are Karen, Sanam, and Austin. Especially because they were all delivering at the time that they left. And the winner is Austin. Austin out of nowhere.
Speech. Yeah, fuck you, Jess.
Where is he? Is Austin in here?
Shit, pissed me off.
No, that's why I said speech.
That round sit me. I was like, I'm done.
Austin was in such a good position until he lied to Sanam, and I'm like, what are you doing?
To everybody all the time about everything.
Yo, Austin, I was the only person that Austin did. He was like, Juan, you're the only person that I'm like actually telling the truth. And I'm like, okay.
No, he
and
said that to me too.
Oh, you too? Yeah.
He said that to me too. I'm like, no, they're gonna figure it out. There's too little people for them not to figure it out.
2 minutes later, people were like, I got on a call with Sanam, and she was like, I'm voting for the person who just lied to my face. And I said, ooh. All right.
Austin's position in the game, like
not the ooh.
He got clocked. Are you gonna mute? He got clocked like right after live night after being in this like such a good spot. And like he was a front runner in our eyes for a really long time, and then that just like tanked the round that he went home, and it was just like we felt that he was gone too soon, and it was just really tragic on his end. But I mean, yeah.
All you had to do was shut up.
Not to mention that Austin should have stayed with Josh playing the tower card, which we were so excited for the tower card to be utilized, only for Scott to play the death card, which, to clarify, the death card was in no way meant to specifically be an idle nullifier. It could have been used against any tarot card. And had more tarot cards come to light, it's possible Scott could have jumped the gun, or the holder of the death card could have played on that. But it just so happened to work out that the death card nullified the tower.
Topher,
Yes, Ren.
you're literally what you calling it, lighting a fire in the one's ass. That's literally what he said. He's like, if Jess had literally done what she said she was gonna do and play that thing, then the Scots would have nullified it and would still be here.
I
But
was
let's mess everything up.
something in my gut was telling me we need an insurance policy, and I was like, if we use our powers together, then there's no way that Austin will go home. And on that call with me, Josh, and Jess, we were just like, me and Josh were like, Jess, are you using it? She's like, I don't think so. And I was like, all right, well.
No, because we were explaining to Jess very thoroughly, like for 3 minutes, and then she'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I'm just trying to leave. I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
But then the death card would be played anyway.
Well, no, the reason I played, so what happened on our end is we had made that, I think that's when the group of 5 started, specifically to deal with Austin. And I don't know, did he ever really have that power where he could make us revote?
Girl, that shit was expired. Anyway,
Okay.
Topher,
Well,
clarifying question. Wait, before you do that, clarifying question, because I think this will answer. I'm sorry, Scott. But so if something was played and then Scott played a death card and something was played after the death card, did that still work?
Yeah, that would have still worked.
Yeah. Okay.
Scott's death card could only nullify another tarot card.
Yeah.
Right.
So prior to that night, the discussion, or that tribal, like within the hour before, there was a discussion of like, okay, so Josh has this thing where he can, make it the second highest person goes home, and Austin has this other thing where he might make us revote. We don't know if it's still in the game. And so at one point, Denson like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, because we had a plan to deal with that, but I had not yet revealed what I had. And then finally, I was just like, I'm just going to have to tell these hoes, because like, otherwise we're not going to do this. And I was just like ready for Josh and Austin to be gone. So I was like, guys, I have this thing. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So we had like our order of operations on like, if this happens first, then do this. If this happens second, then do that. And so it kind of worked out, because like if Austin had played the revote, then Josh would have gone then. And the fact that he didn't, he ended up just going anyway. So
I would also like to clarify that Austin's power was history can't repeat, which means Austin would have had to have played it before the votes were cast, and everybody would have had to have voted for somebody they had yet to vote for. In contrast to Ren's advantage, which was the magician, which forced everybody to change their vote from the vote that they just cast. So
Ren robbed herself of the javelin by self-eliminating.
Right.
By that point, by that round, I think Austin's advantage had even expired.
Yeah, Austin's was only good until
Until merge, right?
it merged at like final 9. I don't know, something like that. So
we weren't totally clear on like if it was still good, or we thought, I think the discussion was that it was at final 9 that it would expire. So we just had as many contingency plans.
That was on Austin to explain the logistics of the advantage. All right, on to the next round. Best recovery. This is someone that may have been about to be taken out to the wash in the pre-merge and may have not been as active as they normally would be, or may have not have had the best showing at the start, and then found their footing and then made a significant impact the second half of the game. And the nominees are Juan, Sanam, and Tyler In. And the winner is Sanam. Sanam was almost first boot of her tribe to end up girl bossing it in the merge portion. And unfortunately, it still ended sort of prematurely, but still Sanam kicked ass.
It wasn't even just the first vote of the tribe. There was a couple right before we even merged, right before the merge, where like that double tribe, not double.
Was Sanam gonna go before the merge had to be lost? That's what I was that setting up? Was that
Yeah,
actually gonna
that was gonna be
So,
absolutely.
So that was
That's why I want Karen gone.
valid.
So, Sam, how you feel? Sam loves it. He can't speak, but yes. So talk about the way, winning challenges is so important. The ripple effect that it can have on the entire game. I mean, we lose, you lose too many challenges in a row. We lose somebody like Keaton, who definitely would have been a force to be reckoned with come the merge. Like there's so many what's it called, factors at play. So variables was the word I was looking for. And so, all right, on to the next. Most impressive move. This was something that was flashy, would have made great television if this was aired in a public space. And the nominees are the javelin throw, the death card, and I can't read the third one because
the allegiance.
The allegiance flip. Is that what it is? The allegiance? Yeah. Oh, the allegiance flip. And the winner is the allegiance flip. Just switching sides to then team up with the truth tellers. Hell of an alliance name in a Survivor game. To then end up making her way all the way to the end and, of course, claiming the victory. So... was that how that went down? Is that what I was most impressive?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Okay, perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Take over. I can touch on it a little bit.
Yes.
Starting around the point of the Austin vote, so I'm kind of attributing this to like final 11 to final 8. Jess started moving more and more away from like Josh and Juan, and more so towards like Scott and Sanam and a bunch of other people. And the way she did it was, even if she like fuck somebody over, they can't go to anybody but her. So she was like the core of all information going throughout the entire game for like a solid few rounds, and it set her up for the end game where she really could go wherever she wanted. And like, even though like there was like Denson clocking her, nobody could really do anything about it.
Man.
Also, take out Juan's name and just say Josh, because she didn't move for me. Period. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Josh.
No, we're in this together, Juan.
Josh, literally, oh my gosh, the calls and Smoke and Jays were like, me and Josh would be like going at it, and Juan's just sitting there trying so hard to get us to like get back together. It just like, oh my gosh, it was so fun.
All right. And on to the next. So that's the most impressive move. Let's talk about the biggest blunder. This is always a fun category. And the nominees are Juan voting for Josh, which was an interesting decision because Juan voted for Josh and then ended up in the minority, allowing the truth tellers to have a much stronger stranglehold on the game. Nova voting for Alex, who was seemingly their closest ally at the time, and just sort of inadvertently took Alex out of the game when the vote was very close. It was by one vote. And on the Ren side, the magician card being played, literally taking Ren out of the game. When Ren would not have gone, Juan would have gone. And the winner is
I think mathematically Ren would have had the javelin as well if she was still in. Because
you know what? I'll take
she would like
because if Juan gave Ren javelin points,
Ren
he
would
would
have
have
had
had
the
31.
javelin as well. But Ren kind of wanted to go at that point, so like it wasn't, it was less of a blunder and more of a Ren just throwing everything against the wind. But
didn't Ren say get me to
Nova
6?
voting out Alex.
I beat myself up so bad for that too. Like, I think y'all thought I was bullshitting. I was not. There was no bullshit there.
I just feel like you could have wrote down anybody else's name.
Okay. Like, a lot of it came from the misunderstanding I had about the advantage. And I literally, I was like, okay, I haven't heard anything. I'm like, Alex like isn't seeming like he's trying to get me aside, and I'm like, is this just a foregone conclusion and Alex can save himself? And I had a lot, like I was literally in the car, I was half hearing shit, like it was a mess.
I do also kind of want to attribute a little bit of this to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sonam.
I, for one, loved that blunder.
It did end up, I think, working out for me in the end, just because like it was after that like I was hearing all this other shit that Alex had going on and all this shit I didn't know, and I was like, oh.
It did ultimately result in you being a finalist, so I don't want to take that away from you. It's hard. There was not a whole lot of blunderous moves to be made during this game, so it was top tier gameplay on every level.
I'll wear it as a badge of honor. I am me even when I am fucking up.
I do want to mention that, like, I don't necessarily attribute this to only Nova. I also kind of want to mention that entire side that, like, had full opportunity to just, like, tell Nova the name, and it probably would have ended differently, but nobody ever told Nova. So it's kind of like a two-sided coin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't all coins have two sides?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible.
And the next category is the Alliance of the Season. There are nominees, and those nominees are the Truth Tellers, the Smoking Jays, and the three Amigops. No Walla Alliance here. So poor taste that alliance name was, and we do not approve. But the winner is it's got to be the Truth Tellers. I mean, they basically frog marched their way all the way to the end. If it wasn't for some twisty turny things like the javelin, probably would have been sitting in the final four. So here we are.
Which they still got final five.
They still got final five. So it was the alliance of the season. Not an official pagonging, because there was not one tribe that then took out the whole other tribe without any maneuverability, but a dominant alliance nonetheless.
I love you guys so much.
I also love you guys, even though I'm finding out now that Tyler didn't love us. He hated us.
No, I love you all.
He
as
said,
people.
he said,
I'm
fuck
so
those hoes.
confused.
Tyler, I thought we had something.
I did too.
You all are great people. I was just like, why am I here?
Because we told you. We fucking told you. I said, this
Yeah,
is
but
what we want to do. What do you think? And you were like, yes, I'm in.
Sure. Yeah, why would I say no?
Well, I know. I agree, but never mind.
On to the next. The duo of the season. This is for the pair of the season that we felt most symbolized being a pair. And the nominees are Jess and Juan, Jess and Nova, or Jacob and Denson. Oh, Jacob says that him and Denson were not a duo.
Watch them win it.
All right.
That's the shit that I pulled with Nova last time, where it's like, me and Nova weren't a duo. That's
me and Denson were a fucking duo.
I fully
All
thought
right.
of you as my duo in season 5, to be
You
fair.
guys would literally start your days with just sending the coordinates you freaking put on the thing.
Yeah. So the winner is Denson and
Robbed.
you ended up being
Juan and I robbed.
We're robbed.
Yeah.
We went to
against
fire
you.
together.
Can I make an honorable mention to Jess and Scott? Like just because the complexity of y'all's relationship throughout this season, you guys went from like lovers to enemies to lovers again, and it was really entertaining to watch, I will say.
And
I love Scott. It really was so tumultuous. Like we had a low, like I don't even remember, like around the Tyler B vote up until like after the Josh vote, and then we were just like, we need to talk this out.
No, it was like so the Tyler B vote happened, and then I had convinced myself that you and Tyler N and Noah had like a secret final three, and I was like, these motherfuckers think they got me. Well, they don't. And then I had to write a VLDR being like, I was wrong. But then it was after the Karen vote where we were mad, and we had that long conversation, and then we were good.
No, literally, I'll never forget how you were just like, this is healing.
Well, the Karen vote was when I realized that there wasn't like the secret three, because I got on a call with Tyler and he was like, I'm fucking pissed. And I was like, me too.
Two things of notes here that would have been interesting. One, to talk about the growth from season 1 to season 8. During season 1, Josh was nominated 3 times for Duo of the Season, with Josh's 3 different pairs. And now here the tables have turned and Jess is nominated multiple times. It was Brian, Jess, and Aaron.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then also, if the butterfly's wings would have flapped a different way, Karen would probably be sitting here towards the end with multiple duos of the season. Shout out to the Care Vengers, which should have been the Karen Vengers, but was
I'm dyslexic.
No,
left
we
the
love you.
Y out of that. A whole alliance put together of Karen stands. All right.
Avengers.
On to the next. Best vote. This was the most, not the best, like, oh yes, thank God they voted that person out. No, but this was the best, like the most entertaining vote of the season.
I want to be known that's how I'm personally will be taking
I
it.
hope
You
it's
wanted this person
pre-jury.
The most entertaining vote of the season. The nominees are
Sorry.
Karen,
Ama,
Alex, and Josh. And the winner goes to Josh, because about 10 minutes before that JP, Josh was just going home, like flat out. And then it tied. Josh was able to maneuver a 10 to 15 minute time frame, a tie vote that almost had one not flipped and voted out Josh or taken Josh out of the game would have resulted in Josh managing to stay. So as far as like the most entertainment that was brought to us within a single like hour of a vote, that it would go to Josh's vote out.
No, don't credit me. That was Nova, Sanam. I did my part, but they really did a lot of heavy lifting on that.
Dude, I tried that tribal. Like, oh my gosh, I watched that tribal back and I was like, oh my gosh, Josh is like throwing Brent under the bus to try to get himself safe right now. And it was like so funny.
Josh, you better take that credit back, because I never would have done that had like we not had that call where you were like so like open with me and like, okay, let's talk about it, let's hash it out, and took everything on the chin. Like, I would not have like done that had you not like we not had that moment.
I also just this is what I meant by like the level of gameplay, like going into every vote was so fantastic and strategical. It was a really good time, and it was interesting. I also thank you for allowing me to be able to read the votes in a way in which it was an announced tie, because without having to factor in the two, like not just a B, A, B, A, B, A, B, I got to be like A, B, A, B, A, B, C, D, and it was fun for me.
Topher hates doing A, B, A, B, A, B. He likes to switch it up as much as he can.
Yeah, I don't like A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. It's so boring. All right, next. Mr. or Mrs. Congeniality, mixed congeniality. This is the jury's decision as to who they thought was the most congenial of all the jurors. The jurors get to bond together in Ponderosa, a lounge where everybody that has just recently been defeated in the Olympic Games gets to clamor together and talk about how much they hate the players left in the game. But they don't hate each other, ever. So let's see who the winner is. Denson. Y'all gave it to Denson. Congrats, Denson.
Here's your crown, Denson.
The jury loves you.
Crazy how that works. No, guys, it was fun, and I try to keep everything as light as possible because we all lose. We're all losers. Every single one of us. So we might as well just bond over that.
Can't spell Kaleidoscope without Jess.
My online survivor at discord.com is what Jen just said. Well, we're really all winners because of the people that we met along the way.
Yes, friends we make along the way.
And that is the perfect picture for miscongeniality. I love that.
Oh, my caption needs to be there. Avoid the clap.
Avoid the clap. Yes. 1 pill, 3 days, cleans it up. All right, on to the next. Hero of the season. This is the person that we deemed the most heroic in the nature in which they played the game. And the hero is. It's either Juan, Denson, or Jacob. And the winner is. Look at you, Mr. Denson.
Bro.
It's not really what I do. It's
You just said
too often.
You're so noble. This isn't your first hero either. Right?
This is not my first hero, not my first duo. Like I do it for those awards. I play for those awards at this point. No, honestly, yeah, whoever the villain is, I hope it's Jess, but it might not be. I hope we can be best buds in real life.
All right. And the villain nominees are Ronique, Jess, and Scott. Ronique mostly for her prod chat. Ronique hates all of you. Just kidding. Just kidding. Not really. All right. And the winner is. She laughs because she knows it's true. Jess, the antithesis to Denson, rivalry of the season, the hero and the villain. We love a good villain winner.
I knew that I was gonna get villain when there was a round, 3 rounds in a row where I was called out on someone's way out, and then the feud with Denson started, and I was like, oh, I'm so the villain.
Yes, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Were you actually trying to put on a front the round that Austin got voted out?
No, I was literally shocked because I didn't know about the death card. So I thought Jacob was just going. And I was like, why is nobody freaking out about Jacob leaving right now? Okay. And then the death card was played. And then that's how I was like, oh, shit. They definitely have something with Scott because we had our 4 and I told that 4. But then you guys were just like, oh, whatever. And I was like, huh. And then
I was whatever before that. I was like, nah, I'm probably going to go home. Oh, well. And then Scott told me, I was like, neat. So I'll go home. Great.
Hey.
Yeah, I was shook. I was definitely shook because it was because Austin going home was what I wanted to happen. And I was like, man, I don't want Jacob to go. And then it just Jacob just stayed. And I was like, holy shit, how the fuck did this just happen?
Guys, hold on. I want to say something real quick. Have 2 points. Number 1, when you read those VLDRs, read it with a grain of salt. I was emotional. I was angry. Please do not read them and take them to heart. Okay. Number 2, let me just talk about myself for a second. What a complex bitch I am, from a hero to a nomination for a villain. Period. Okay. Have a great day, guys.
Oh.
It's a great read, I will say. Fantastic read.
Oh, all right. On to the next. Best strategist. This is the person that we felt was strategizing nonstop, morning to night, always coming up with different plans or being a part of different plans or listening to and helping implement different plans. It goes all the way around, 360-degree circle. And the nominees are Jess, Denson, and Scott. And the winner of the most strategic or best strategic was Jess. We felt Jess was the most in the know on most conversations and plans for somebody being voted out of a game.
I really tried to be more strategic this season. Usually I'm more social. So I was really proud of myself on that level because I usually play much more of a social game and I was really trying to always figure out what the best thing was. So thank you.
All right. And the next category, social butterfly, the most social
It's just
Uh,
again.
the nominees are Jess Adorno and Nova. And the winner is good morning. It is Nova, our most good morningest of all people.
Good morning, friendo.
Nova still here?
Yeah.
Oh, Nova.
I always gotta check in.
I love it.
The minute I realized Friendo wasn't just for me, broke my heart a little bit. I
Oh,
was like, I thought I had a
sorry.
cute name.
To be fair, you got Bestie a good amount, and Bestie goes to the people I specifically feel really tight with.
The first time you said Friendo, I was like, oh, this feels like a pet name. This is cute. And then I was like, there's no way it's just me.
Tyler, you were the only one I said good morning king to.
That's how I feel in season 5 with Nova.
I would always tell Juan, I'd be like,
the
"Good morning,
friendo.
baby."
I mean, I still love it though.
All right. And the next category is Challenge Beast. And the
I want to show the winner. Okay.
Who could it be?
Well, Jess actually did not win that many comps. Scott, Tyler, and Jess, the person with racking up the most amount of comp wins, including 2 wins in a row to get into redemption, or get back out of redemption, is Tyler.
Yay. I was good at math the one time. That was nice. Also, that advantage for Karen and Battleship was like more of an advantage for me. I will die on that hill. I was like, oh, I have more chips to hit. This is great. So
Well, yes, but then
it's also more than he had to say.
it's also more than you had to sink. Yeah, Karen also had a tarot card called Strength that would have allowed her to play gain an advantage in any challenge of her choosing after hearing what the challenge is. Unfortunately, Karen went so quickly that she only got the opportunity to play it in the Coliseum. So, which. Yes, Jacob Adorno. It was a crazy Australian Survivor-like twist to have to earn the jury. So the last 2 members of pre-juror competed to get back in the game. Tyler didn't even end up on the jury, though. Made it all the way to the end. So I thought it was a fun twist. I said we have to have the Coliseum in there.
We
wanted to have the Coliseum, but we also did not want to have to do a battle back for everybody.
We were waiting for something. We were like, they haven't done anything from season 5 yet. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Do we do a battle back for the entire pre-jury? It's going to take a lot of time, energy, and effort. Let's just do it for the the first 2 merge. Yeah, we had a lot going on pre-jury. It was a lot to keep track of. All right. On to the next underdog. Who is the biggest underdog? Juan, Tyler, or Denson? And the winner is
San Juan.
Yeah, Juan almost I don't know, I'm not going to speak for the jury, but if Juan wins Final Four forced fire making, Juan may be sitting here the winner of the season. I don't know, but very strong possibility. So,
I don't like the term underdog. I like the term bad bitch. But I'll take it. Okay, thank y'all.
Bad bitch of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Juan, you would have been voted out 6th, and instead of getting voted out 6th, a twist or an advantage bought you 1 more round where you won the javelin, and then you ended up in the final for fire making. So it was really a circumstantial thing that would have taken you into the finals.
It was fun. It was a fun game.
You killed it, Juan. You did
Imagine if you said, I hated it. It wasn't fun at all.
Never.
I hated every minute of this.
I'll never say that.
Juan did say preseason, I never do well in all-star games. I'm probably going out in the pre-merge.
Listen, every all-star game I played, I've been taking out that swap.
Jesus Christ, how many have you played?
Like, Cutthroat, maybe, and then there's like some Twitter games. So like 3.
Oh my God.
CTC fans versus favorites, that kind of counts.
Yeah, I count it.
Every game, all 2 of them.
And for the record, how did Juan go home in CTC fans versus favorites?
Because Joe and Trinica. We can talk about that later.
I just wanted Juan to win.
Fucking Joe and Trinica. I hope they're watching this. because they came right after me, back to back. Okay, next, next, Rebecca.
Next.
That's my game.
Production favorites. Oh God, you know what? I literally was like, I want there to be multiple. Let me get. I think we need 2 per prod member. I think everybody should be a production favorite because it is so hard to choose between any of you, because I love all of you, and so this is such a hard category for me because literally I love all of you so much, because you're all like my favorite people in the world for even like being here and doing this damn thing. So, all right, prod favorites, let it rip.
I think we did these in alphabetical. So the first one we have is Caleb's, and then we go from there.
All right.
But for Caleb, we have Noah. Okay. For who's next? For Chris-Anne, we have.
Wait, Chris-Anne has a little blurb she wants.
Okay.
Of course.
Hold on, let me get it. Okay, so
It's like that
Chris-Anne,
thing where you read the word,
Not Ren
it's the
saying, of
color,
course.
but the color's different.
Yeah. Okay. Chris-Anne said, for Denson, I loved your dedication to not let anybody bully your decisions and sticking to your guns and doing what you always thought was best.
Good.
Okay.
Co-sign that sentiment.
Next up, we have Corey.
Just to piggyback off of Chris Hands there, Denson really the entire season sat there and said, "Oh, that's who's the vote. I don't want that. I'm gonna go vote for this person." The whole season. I chose Tyler because I think he really played a great game, very strategic, managed to get voted out, yes, but then fought back in the battle back and wound up positioning himself quite well with some immunity wins, getting with good peoples, and ultimately making it to the final. So I respect that.
Next up, we have Jen's prod favorite, which is Scott.
Jen, I love this for us.
Yeah, so just from literally from season 6 to now, like you have been obviously like a shoo-in for this season, and like I don't think there's anybody that has expressed so much excitement about being on the season, and then just watching you play the season, the amount, and I said this to you in your pod chat as well, but like the amount of dedication and passion that you have for this game and all the games that I see you play is like, it's truly just so much, it's so great to see, as a viewer and as a production member. So it just makes for a really entertaining org to see, when people put that much effort into it. And I really appreciate you so much for how much passion you have, specifically for our game. It really means the world to us. It really does.
I love you guys. Oh my god, am I the Rudolph triplet?
Maybe.
My hair's not curly though, so.
All right, next up, I think next is Mac. Mac chose Jacob. Did we get a blurb from Mac? I don't think we did.
So. I don't think so. But Jacob, you know how Mac feels.
Yeah, yeah. This
I love-
one.
I love the fact I get it again. Just from Mac. I was like, I better get it from Mac.
Next we have Sean. Sean chose Renee.
Listen, Ren made me laugh every single time. Every time Ren's on a call, it's always at the right moment because like she's having her conversation and she'll say some side comment or something shady, and it would make me like literally go on camera and be like, "What the fuck?" And then the amount of like times that there's a lot of comments that Ren has made that made me laugh. I just love Ren.
I love you too, babe.
All right. Next we have Topher's fave, which is Josh.
I've got to go with our very first winner for a couple of reasons. One, because when we first were talking about like we're going to do all stars, and do we want it to be, how do we want the theme of the season to be? Are we going to do do we want the biggest, do we want it to be sort of second chances? Do we want it to be the biggest characters? Do we want it to be, what do we want out of our all stars? And I'm like, let me see if we can get Josh. And I send Josh a DM and I say, are you in? And Josh said he was in. And I was like, we need the best of the best. We need the highest placements. We need the best competitors. We need this season to really truly represent the best that Kaleidoscope has to offer. And when Josh said yes, and then came into the game, and it was like right off the bat, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be this twist. This twist is going to fuck me. I'm not good at that. I don't want to be on these calls with these people. And then the next thing you know, boom, it ended up parlaying into, I think I'm going to win this thing. And I really thought, I was like, oh my God, Josh may be about to pull this off a second time, back-to-back wins. He was really in a good position until then the trainee becomes the trainer, and Jess took over from there. And Josh played the tower card, and the death card got played, and Josh's game got cooked. But no, just to see the level of enthusiasm, and the fact that I haven't seen Josh play another game around this community for a while, and to come back here and to say yes, and to just pick up the mantle and hop right back in like no time has passed. It was a lot of fun, and without the first winner of the first season, we don't evolve into what we've evolved into. So that's where Josh ultimately got my choice. But again, everybody else, it's such a hard decision. I love all of you guys so much, and I it was such a big deal for each and every one of you to come and to play and to be on this cast. So thank you.
Can I just quickly add too, and you guys will be able to see it when we post our cast assessment, but I, for one, thought that Josh, out of all the winners, was going to be the first one to go.
Yep.
I thought for sure Josh was going to be cooked because
Yep.
Josh is just that good, and these people, they know Josh is that good. They're going to get rid of his ass. But you absolutely exceeded all of our expectations and did a wonderful job. So thank you again for coming back to play.
No, I appreciate that. And I don't play orgs all too often anymore, but the people I met in season 1 really put a profound effect on me. And then it was just to see how much you guys have grown as a series as well. I'm like, I'll play even if I'm busy. And it was fun. And like I said, I'm just gonna be here for fun. And it was a blast. It really was.
It's
Josh,
funny.
you had an impact. Oh,
It's
whoa.
funny because I always told Josh, I'm like, Josh, every time your name comes out, you like, oh, my name's out. All right, be right back. And then his name just disappears. Every single time. I'm like, what the fuck do you do? He's like, nothing. I'm like,
No,
stop fucking lying.
it's just picking picking your allies. That's what I. That's
Well,
what I.
you had them, and I knew the moment you had an impact on the game is when I was calling Ren, and she said, "Listen." She said in the chat here, she goes, "That man's voice. You know what? I love you, Noah, but if Josh says vote Noah, I'm gonna have to vote you, Noah." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Ren, no!" You're like, "I have a thing." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay." Well, yeah.
That's why Topher think that was the second biggest blunder because I voted out his favorite player. Oh my god.
No, not even like that. Not even like that.
All right, and our last prod favorite we have, which is from moi, I picked Jess. This was so hard to pick, but I could gush about Jess's game this season for hours. She was so much fun to watch, just from a gameplay perspective and from a personal perspective. I think it was around the start of Merge. She got on call with her prod chat guest and had an entire game map set up and everything, and talked about it for an hour straight. And I was listening to it, and I think that's probably when it was cemented for me in my mind. I think she is the ideal best All-Stars winner in my head. I think she played this game really, really well. You'll see it in the Edgic because I didn't Edgic for the season. She was a front runner, if not the front runner, for a lot of rounds. She dipped for a bit purely because I was like, they're not gonna let her get away with this, right? And y'all did. In my opinion, she ran circles this season. and I was really, really impressed. And Jess, you just did a phenomenal job.
Crazy how that happened.
Thank you so much, Zach. Also, I knew Denton was going to say that.
All right. And on to the final category of the night, I believe, right? Final category. Player of the season. Player of the season. There were so many players for this season. You all did amazing. But we did have to narrow it down to 3 players of the season. And those 3 nominees are Juan, Jensen, and Scott, with the top 3 obviously not being in contention. And the winner, maintaining some tradition, the winner is Scott, our final 5 victim.
Go, baby!
Player of the season.
Yay! Thanks, guys. That's my 3rd one in a row, so I'm glad about that. I won't talk a lot because nobody cares, but I care. So anyway, yeah, I was really happy with how I played. I don't know if I had a chance if I made it to the end against Jess, but I feel like all of the things that I've done wrong in other games, I finally put it all together here. To the point where even though things ended the way they did, I have no regrets. There's nothing I would have done differently. Yay, I'm so happy. I wish I could say more, but to kind of go off what Jen said earlier, this is probably the best game that I played in terms of how it's run, how production has organized the game, the people that I've met, just being in the server in the off season, it's been so great, which was not the case for my first game. So to kind of see the arc of this whole experience end up here, it's very satisfying. And thanks, guys. Yay.
All right. And even though this is the end of the line for season 8 of Kaleidoscope, while we are in a Giannis, there will be some fun and games to take place. Do we have that on this slide, Zach? Yep. All right. What's next?
I don't know if the sound is coming through, but it's Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
Think about me, think about think of that sweet espresso.
Didn't you win the one about Randy Jackson?
Last season. Don't come for me. I also got that wicked point. So
Kaleidoscope Coffee Shop.
Miniscope. We have a couple of minis that we have in the work, including an assistant themed mini for our next prod guest or prod member, which should be a ton of fun. But yeah, we may not be able to put together a full format season, but we do have some minis in the work. So stay tuned. We'll have a couple of those throughout the Odyssey. Until we find some adjustments onto what life is like with a baby. And then once we get all settled in, a couple of months down the line and we are able to recalibrate ourselves and we have ourselves, because we can't just, you have an infant, you can't just be having tribals at 10 o'clock at night. But
we have them at 7 a.m.
Yes.
You'll be up anyways with the baby.
Eventually, somewhere down the line, we will be back. And when we come back, we will have a theme. And that theme will be
babies.
Yes.
By the way, I'm home.
Oh, it's not loaded into the slideshow? Oh, okay. The
theme is babies.
The theme will be Kaleidoscope Gambler's Paradise.
Nice.
And it's going to be Viva Las Vegas themed. Everything involving twists will be about risking it for the biscuit. You got to risk it to get the reward. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. But
can Josh play again?
Can Josh play again?
Please.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have a full reset.
I'm going into retirement.
Yeah, we're all reset now. We all have 0 stats.
We'll run into a brand new era. So yeah, but we do appreciate all of you. This is going to conclude the formality of finale night, but we are so excited to celebrate with y'all because it's only 9 o'clock. We had an early finale, so we can all hang out here on Zoom. We're going to end the YouTube if it hasn't been ended yet, but we're going to spill some tea. Now we're going to get real. We're going to get real and honest about anything you guys want to know or need to know. Jacob, yes, you're officially a prod member again. We'll add you back. Jacob is not going to get access to your confessionals and all of that fun stuff. But we will.
We did joke about it earlier, though. Like, as soon as the votes are read, Jacob's getting his prod rolls back.
Yeah, so, and it was official, the official vote count. In case you need to know, was 8-2. So
I put it in my spreadsheet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a very hard.
Thought was making fun of you guys doing the board. What's it called, guys?
Okay, you know what? So
Turning off the live stream now.